Warning, due to adult language and humor, the following content may not be suitable for any viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following live stream or video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you. Yeah, I know.
Wait,
I know.
what? Sunday
edition. Wow.
I know. I hit the wrong one, but you know what? We haven't had a Sunday edition in a while, so I just thought I can't act like I did that on purpose. I hit the wrong one. I hit the wrong one. But anyways,
anyways, go ahead.
Welcome.
I don't know if
one and all.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know if I want to be here. There might be strong language and opinions that might not I agree with. I'm going to go now, man. I don't know if I can handle this. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. What a way to start off 2023 with the first Pop Talk of 2023. I am your host, Mike. Yeah, I'm the one that committed the error. I can't even cover it up by saying, oh, yeah, I meant to do that. Speaking of which, I should get a clip of Pee-wee saying, ha, I meant to do that.
Well, it's more like I would say this.
You're gone!
Well, actually, I was thinking of more of the lines of this next one.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
You know what's brilliant about that movie? They're in a jet plane, but you can hear turboprops. You know?
Mm-hmm. And nobody says anything about it because they enjoyed the movie so much. But
I did, but I just was laughing too hard.
Welcome, one and all, to the first PACIFIC414 Pop Talk of 2023. I am your host, Mike. Along with me this evening is Baron Orman Tag and Cash Money. Master Paul of the Star Wars guys will be along with us shortly, and I have also extended an invitation to Anonymous. But But tonight's topic of discussion is the confusion with entertainment. Now, this was actually the brainchild of one Cash Money. So, Cash.
Yay! What's up?
The human chin.
Yes, the greatest chin ever. Yes.
When you came to me about this idea for this being the discussion for today's show, what is your intention? You know.
Well, it's just it's amazing to me how confusing entertainment just continues to be. And now we're going into 2023, and I just feel like we're going to have more confusion with shows, with this. And this is not about saying that people are right or people are wrong, whatever opinions they have. I just feel the entertainment is very confusing right now. Like, do you want to watch it? It's like, oh, you should be excited about this. It's like, should I though? Maybe not. But I mean, people probably would be like, I can't believe I didn't watch this, but I haven't watched Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. I haven't watched. I watched a little bit of House of Dragon or House of the Dragon or whatever. I haven't also watched Willow. Like, I haven't watched any of that. I don't know why I should care if I watch it or don't watch it. And also recently this idea came into my head. I haven't really ever watched like Quantum Leap, the old Quantum Leap. And I said to myself, this show is quite enjoyable. And it's funny too, because I know some of the family who their grandfather is related to. Like I've hung out at their house. This was a number of years ago, but it was like, you know, this is crazy. This is the guy who created JAG and NCIS, but it's just like I watched that show, and that show's so old now, but it's just good. And I just got into my head, just like watching old episodes of Knight Rider. I'm like, this show can be goofy, but it can be good. It can have values, and I don't think many shows have values anymore. I just think there's just a lot of confusion in entertainment now. You can like it, not like it, but it doesn't seem like something like, oh, you got to watch this. I watched something like Babylon, and yeah, it's gross. And yes, I personally understand why it just bombed at the box office. I think it was just a little bit too gross for people, but I could also see that stuff happening in the 1920s. But there's also a story there, and it's crazy. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, DJ Ronnie?
And hello to DJ Running G. Hello to Captain Fandom Nerd. Hello to the Comic Relief Crusader. Hello to Old Man, Kathy Skywalker, Jed Sparks, Lord Crit of Everest Productions.
Well, Cash, I have this to say. You're wrong. They sat down in front of the TV. They turned the TV on. They watched. They deserve to die. No. To have a little paraphrase off of Airplane there. The counterpoint.
Well, I just it's just crazy to me. So
No, yeah.
I
mean, whatever.
I just find it very confusing. I mean, I'll sit down and watch something like Family Matters 100,000 times, and it's still enjoyable to me. There's values in there. There's good writing, and I miss that. This is what I grew up with, so I. It's just it's crazy to me. Yeah.
The one minor thing I'll disagree on is they're promoting values, but they're promoting their own values, not necessarily what most of us out there want to see for for watching.
You're talking about the newer entertainment, right?
Right, the newer entertainment. Yeah. Yes, well, yeah. And Family Matters too. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm talking about newer. No, but I mean the stuff that we have nowadays. I mean, right now the value is hate the cops. White man bad, orange man bad. I mean, all that, that's all you're inundated with. There's no point counterpoint. There's no, the nuclear family is a myth and should be destroyed. We don't need dads no more. We don't need men no more. And if people think I'm being exaggerated on there, but no, just listen to what they have to sit back and say. The force is female, all that stuff. And so, as that goes, is we are, it's a different value that they have, and they don't like the values that we grew up with or like. And the majority of us, I like to think the majority of us believe in, just being good to each other, even if we don't agree with each other.
Let bygones be bygones. You may not like the same thing as somebody else, but at the end of the day, you can either be an adult and say, okay, you know what, you have your point of view, I have mine, and walk away. Or you can act like we see on Twitter, where everybody goes after each other and calls everybody an istaphobe, a Yahtzee.
Well, right, exactly. And I'm sure we'll hit a little bit of that as we go later on, and we get little Master Oriole Paul in here, or Padawan Paul. I'm going to call him Padawan Paul now, just to be contrary and mean and cruel, to keep with the theme that we're just mean people. There we go. Not only, and not only is he 555 noob, he's also 555 dead because he was dying like he can't believe in easy mode.
That's true. That's true. And I did make a comment the other night when he was playing that game, and I said, "And you give me a hard time about dying in the game." But anyways, part of the things that especially with Hollywood entertainment movies and television, then you look into comics and video games, is that they want to push these messages into these properties, especially well-established properties like Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who.
Well, exactly.
Quantum Leap.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, they don't have the ability to come up with their own stuff, so let's grab something else and destroy it. And that's exactly what it is. is shameful for that. How they act in that fashion. On it's like, oh, we can't create our own, so we'll just destroy it. It's like this is Hollywood. This is like entertainment Taliban. Destroy, just like the Taliban destroyed those wonderful Hindu statues, our Buddha statues, I should say, and destroying all sorts of art and literature because they don't go in the way of Allah. This is another form of jihad in the entertainment industry. They don't like the fact that there was top quality entertainment. They know they cannot do better than that. So let's just take it and destroy it.
Mhm.
All the sequel trilogy was for Star Wars was let's destroy the old guard. No, Han Solo in the first one, Luke in the second one, and making them in Leia in the third, and making most of them as pathetic as possible. They made Han pathetic. They made Luke look pathetic. About the only one was Leia. They didn't do that too because that's just not part of it there. They even made her have superpowers and be Mary Poppins floating through space. I mean,
She's Mary Poppins, y'all.
he's Mary Poppins, you all, yeah. And
We didn't need a second Mary Poppins film.
No,
just did it.
I'll be honest. I did watch that Mary Poppins Returns, and it doesn't have the spirit or the magic of the first one. Yes, I know the story of Disney and the negotiating rights for doing the movie and how that actually turned out. I'm fully aware of that, but that sequel had no heart, not like the original.
I'm not surprised.
well, who was it that was? Actually, I was watching the Echo Base Network's sequel trilogy documentary that they had out there. And as they sat back and said, the sequel trilogy was made by corporate mind, not by a creative mind. And of course, what doesn't have any heart? A corporate mind. Just like the High Republic. I'll add that onto it, where they're whiteboarding all this stuff out. It's like if you need a whiteboard out like in that fashion, you're failing. You're failing big time. Especially when you're putting stuff on there. Well, I'm still waiting for the freaking dinosaurs. Where's the freaking dinosaurs you promised me?
That's true. If anybody remembers the video where they're putting the High Republic together and coming up with ideas, dinosaurs was one of the items you saw on that list of things on that whiteboard.
Yeah.
Well, it's confusing also. I mean, you go down in this article and you can see the animation, or I guess you could say the artwork or whatever, and it just looks
Hold on.
lazy.
Hold on, gentlemen. Hold on.
I'm loading.
Where the hell have you been, soldier?
Training, sir! Training, sir!
What kind of training, son?
Army training, sir! Army training, sir!
Welcome,
Why that
Master
clip?
Paul.
Because he had to
Because
find
I wanted to
something because
debut a
you're
new
the-
clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations.
So that's the
Thanks.
clip for Master Paul.
New clip, new year, new Master Paul.
Same old Master Paul.
So I had to come in
And-
while we were talking about this topic.
Yes. But it's related to tonight's topic.
Right. And we're just doing this as placeholder until you got in here. So
I gotcha.
Because
did you
even sitting down and reading a comic book can consider entertainment, especially if it's really good. Something like the Watchmen novel.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, everything about this article just reeks of why Marvel and DC are going down the crapper big time, and why manga is picking up in the United States more and more.
This
You know-
is yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I can do a quick, because it's not a big article. I can do a quick read through on this if you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, from Liam McGuire at Screen Rant. Not a source I necessarily go to, but I mean, when they have a good story, they have a good story. DC introduces Joker's new son with a surprise hero. The Joker has a brand new son with a surprise DC comic character and a wacky new adventure starring the Clown Prince of Crime and an unlikely hero. And look at that. Oh, isn't that so cute? So
It's so adorable.
Oh, this is going to be spoilers here, so who cares? The Joker has a brand new son with a DC Comics hero who wants nothing to do with the calm prince of crime. And Joker, the man who stopped laughing, and so did we, by the way. Number 4, a spell from Zatanna where she states that no one else will ever be allowed to have his baby leads to the creation of a monster that Joker claims is the magical hero's son, too. Yay. And the Joker backup story in this week's Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, by Matthew Rosenberg, Francisco Francavala, there we go, and Tom Napoleano from DC Comics. Zatanna runs into Joker, who steals all the water from the Gotham River. Wow. Joker tries to romance the magic user, but is knocked into the mud by Zatanna, who casts a spell that no one else will ever have your baby. While the spell is meant to stop Joker from ever procreating, it ends up leading to him getting pregnant and giving birth to a mud monster whom he calls his son. While Zatanna attempts to ensure the Joker was never able to bring children into the world by saying no one else will ever have his baby instead of just no one, she accidentally made it possible for him to have a child with her, as it can only be hers as a result. So Joker ends up getting bizarrely pregnant and delivering birth to a mud monster who eventually takes a human-like form. He takes his son to Zatanna and introduces him as theirs. It's a bizarre scene and a non-canon story meant to showcase the sillier side of the villain. Oh yeah, I'm really... Look at that artwork. Look at that top-tier artwork.
I want to put that on my wall.
Especially the middle one.
Yeah. I mean, that is so top tier. I tell you, it just... I just... Wow.
We should make a comparison to this and then I Am Not Starfire and see which one.
Screw the sarcasm. That is the most low tier trash I have ever seen.
Yep.
Like, that's not even worth sarcasm in my book.
It's just...
I'm just sarcastic, so I like doing it.
I know.
You
I know.
But yeah,
thought
you're
they'd
absolutely right.
go any lower after I Am Not Starfire, and they did it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't...
It did. I mean, a monkey smearing his feces over a wall is better art than this, you know.
It looks so lazy.
It is.
It does. It really does. Like, where is just any detail here?
There is none.
This is the only thing that they could have done to make this more low effort, which would have ironically made it look better, is just make them stick figures.
Stick figures would be better, Paul. I'm not being sarcastic.
I know, that's what I said. Stick figures would have made this look better.
And what about the coloring, for crying out loud? Who thought the coloring was...
I don't know. Everything about this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about, from an artist standpoint, as someone who likes to draw his own characters.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
I didn't know that about you, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're stick figures, though. But
still, that's pretty cool.
But no, in all seriousness, I mean, a napkin on a bar is better than this, old man. I mean, I've seen people draw things out on a napkin in the bar, and it's like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
you did that. This is, so at least it's a non-canonical story. But how much you want to bet it will be eventually here?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything is possible now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. You beat me
That's
to
Just...
No, I mean right there. I mean, I'm not even going to continue on with it because it's just horse hockey. But that is the state, and I think it fits in exactly what we're talking about tonight. Now that Master Paul's here, we can, I suppose, slide into that the debate that we have here about the confusion of Hollywood. And I know Cash was saying, was it on air or was it behind the scenes that it's going to get worse before it gets better? And that's always the case. No. That's always the case.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always that last ditch effort to try to squeeze your garbage out. That last offensive where it seems like, oh, we're going to win, but you find out that there's not enough gas behind it, and the opposition is too great, and eventually they crumble and they fall.
Well, I don't get it because it's the same with this video game stuff. You know, they're like, we're going to remake this. So we'll say Silent Hill 2. That was an article recently or even today. Silent Hill 2. All right, cool. Oh, well, we're going to change some things of areas. And so people start thinking, now, wait a second here. Does that mean they're going to make it for modern audiences? Is that what those words mean? Oh, that couldn't mean what they're talking about when they say that. I'm like, uh-huh.
Look at Saints Row reboot. That's a perfect example.
Cash's favorite game.
Oh yeah, the greatest reboot ever. I just everything, and they did show a lot of that game. Everything that was showed of that game was like, I would tell people, buy the old games. Just buy the old games. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Don't. And if there's news articles that keep trying to defend this, it's the same with Resident Evil 6. And it's like, okay, you like the game, that's fine, but there's a lot of problems with this game, even when you're playing co-op with a friend. That's not good. It's just these ideas and these things, and it all goes together, and it all goes with confusion. And if someone says, "Oh, I like Resident Evil 6," that's fine. But I'll tell people why I don't like Resident Evil 6. Why
Here's a good example right now. I like The Loss.
Oh man, yes, we know. We know you like The Loss.
I like Star Trek V.
Okay, you know when you sat back and said earlier that there is there's no disagreement or whatever, we got it right here. I mean, I'm sorry, Paul.
You're gone.
Wow. If
you're gonna kick me out, at least do it right, Baron. It's supposed to be all right, youngster. Out you go. And
no, I didn't kick you out.
Of it.
Pacific kicked you out. I just did the video.
Oh, wait a minute! You were supposed to tell him.
Come on. Well, I don't want to be falsely accused.
Just go. Yeah. You got kicked out.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
But
although, old man, be careful. If you say Phil too much, you'll summon him.
He might be summoned. Yes.
Well, I think he wants to summon him. But even kind of goes to as we lead into here, kind of the conversation that we're having on our super secret Batcave conversation, where you brought up about Burnett and Doomcock and their little back and forth about Picard season number 3.
Well, it's out there on Twitter, so yeah.
Yeah, it's on our Twitter. Nothing we're saying is not known unless you don't go on Twitter or whatever. But
I want to make it perfectly clear. I have nothing against either gentleman. No. I like them both.
Right. And my statement on it is I can see both sides of their arguments in this. I really can. But I have to side more on Doomcock in this one because of the fact that we have been duped so many times. We've had the bait and switch so many times. We have a studio. We have a production company. We have a cast that has been nothing but vicious towards the fans. Vicious towards the fans. The calling the ists and the phobes and all that. And I'm even including Patrick Stewart because Patrick Stewart was involved in how the story went for season 1 and 2.
Exactly.
And this is the only reason why he came back is so he could do it this way. And when you get called that so many times, when you treat her like crap so many times, with that, it's hard to sit back and say, okay, I'll watch it. As you're coming in like like the battered wife, it's like, okay, one more time. And that's exactly it. That's what we feel like. We feel like we've been abused. We've been abused by Disney. They've done the same thing to us. I want good Star Trek. And I hope that this season 3 really is as good as it is, as Burnett is saying. I am not doubting him one bit. I like the trailer. It almost put a little bit of hope in my heart there. But being abused like we have, Why should I? No, even if it is the best ever. And so I can see both sides of the argument on that one.
And see here I can agree with Doomcock, where I've watched 3 seasons of Discovery. I've watched a season of Picard and a season of Lower Decks.
Hmm.
And after 5 seasons total of subpar Star Trek, and some might even say it's even below subpar, I I'm not interested.
Hmm.
I'm glad that Robert Meyer Burnett has seen something that he likes,
Hmm.
and maybe, just maybe, because I'm not gonna say it won't happen. I'm gonna say maybe if I hear enough good feedback,
Hmm.
genuine feedback. I'm
Right.
not talking about someone that goes, "Hey guys, I just watched episode 1 of season 3 of the card, and it is the awesomest thing I've ever seen." Something like that. No, no, no.
No.
I'm talking about genuine reaction where, you know, they actually look at it objectively,
Hmm. Well, yeah,
and
exactly.
maybe after hearing those reviews, even with their positive and negative thrown in there in that review, maybe I'll give it a look.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
another part of that is I don't want to pay for another streaming service.
No. And see, my hope in all this too is, I mean, and this is where the conundrum comes. If it is good, right?
Mhm.
If it is something that someone somewhere's at Paramount or CBS or what we want to say got the message and they decided, and even with the people with the casts of it, even if they did come back and go, okay, it's time to turn around and start making good things, which I hope it is, will it
Mhm.
continue? Or did they really, did they listen to us? Did they truly, honestly listen to us, or is it just a one-time thing? One of the funniest things I read, I think it was today, Ron Howard was saying that Disney listens to his fans and takes what they say serious.
Yeah, I saw that article on Bounty in the comics, and
Yeah,
I didn't read it though, so I can't really comment.
I didn't
Mm,
fully read it either, but just on that headline itself, it's like, really,
mm,
honestly,
So here's my take in all of this, and I'm not
Mhm.
gonna comment on specifically what happened between Mr. Burnett and Doomcock. You
Mhm.
guys watching this, go look it up yourself on Twitter
Yeah.
and form your own opinions. I have mine. Form
Mhm.
your own. But as far as whether Picard season 3 is truly as good as Robert Meyer Burnett says, we will not know for sure until it releases,
Mhm.
because Robert Meyer Burnett is just one man.
Mhm.
And yes, he has his own tastes and all that. And to his credit, he has lambasted all of New Trek pretty much all to this point, I believe, starting with what happened with JJ.
Yes.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
However, unfortunately, I do have to step out for a second. My brother's calling me. I'll be right back to finish this
Okay.
point.
Sure.
Okay.
Let me just.
yeah,
Now I kind of got myself derailed on that on what I was saying, but it comes down to the one conundrum on this. If this is good and we don't watch it, doesn't get the ratings, then would they go back and say, "Well, see, we tried, you didn't care, so we're just going to go back to what we're doing"? Or do we watch it and give them the check mark, saying, "Yeah, we do approve it and we love this," and hope that they continue on?
All right, I'm back.
Okay,
So
Mister.
let me finish what I was saying. Here's why I do not 100% agree with Doomcock. And I want to preface by saying this: Doomcock has every reason to be as pissed off as he does with New Trek, and trust me, as someone that has seen Star Wars follow a similar fate, I sympathize 100%. But, and this applies purely to me. How you feel about all of this is your prerogative. But I can never truly let go of a franchise that has gone woke, because the possibility is truthfully always there that they could change for the better. It's only too late for these people to change when they stop breathing. So I am willing to sit through layers upon layers of crap to see something good. You don't
Well,
have to, but that's
we
me.
know that, man.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
went back and watched Caddyshack too.
Yeah.
Told you.
Yeah. We warned you. And
You were there with me, Baron.
yeah, I was watching your pain. I was enjoying your pain.
See,
But
and during that watch of Caddyshack 2, Paul was pretty much Kirk. He was. Paul
Mhm.
needed his pain.
He needed his
yes,
pain. There was a Star Trek 5 moment right there.
yeah.
Yes.
But getting back to what I'm saying, though, another thing as to why I slightly disagree with Doomcock on this one is, suppose indeed that Picard season 3 is as good as Robert Meyer Burnett says, and suppose that indeed is a sign that someone at Kurtzman or whatever got the message. Suppose all of that is true, but no one's there to see it. What's that going to tell them? Oh, we tried to give you what you want, and you weren't there to see it, so screw you guys, we're never going to listen to you again. That's why I personally take the notion of reward when the studios do good, and of course, lambast them when they do bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm looking at it right now with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of what they did in 2022 I didn't like, between Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi. Andor I did like, although it wasn't exactly the show that I want out of Star Wars. As far as what's coming out with Star Wars in 2023, I'll give it all a chance. And if I don't like it, you'll know. If I do like it, you'll also know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Well, it's just like when Deep Space Nine came out. The first season, it's okay. And
Mhm.
speaking of Deep Space Nine, yesterday marked the official 30th anniversary of DS9.
Oh, don't say that.
Yes, but when DS9 premiered and watching the first season, it was okay in my opinion.
Mhm.
And I gave the second season a shot because I wanted to see what they would do for the second season, and I'm glad I did because to me, the second season is where DS9 finds its footing. Now, I don't want to spoil anything for Paul here, so I won't because he hasn't seen season 2 yet. He hasn't seen all of
you.
season 1 yet. But, watching season 2 and then anticipating season 3 and then that anticipation for season 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wait until he sees the Horda attack.
Mm-hmm.
DS9 was never the same after the Horda attack.
I see.
But, exactly. I mean, I remember when Deep Space Nine was first coming out. I remember a lot of people deriding it before it was even aired. Like, what is this really Star Trek? They're on a space station. Star Trek's about traveling. And as it goes, it was about traveling. People were traveling around in Deep Space Nine. It's just that they had a home base to go from. And they had that wonderful little wormhole that took them to another part of the galaxy. People were nervous about Star Trek Next Generation, and is it going to catch lightning in the bottle? I think it kind of went away after DS9 and moving into Voyager and then and such that finally there was more acceptance of what was coming out. I know that when I first watched the Babylon 5 pilot movie, The Gathering, it's like it's okay, but it has potential. And then, of course, a year later, they had the first episode, Midnight on the Firing Line. It's like, oh my word, they got something.
Oh, yeah.
And it got me right away on episode 1 after that.
And that's the thing, too, Baron. How many shows now, or even movies, have you hooked right out from the get-go?
Right.
Yeah, sadly, the talking point nowadays is, oh, you got to give it some episodes to get good. No, it should be from the first episode. Looking at you, Boba Fett.
Well, it all depends. Are you talking about an 8 episode season, or are you talking about a 22 episode season? Sometimes when you have the longer season, it does take a little bit to get the feet running. You can see what the potential is, and you're willing to stick with it. You can see it actually grow. I mean, You take a look even with the first season of Star Trek, where it was kind of clunky in the beginning. I mean, they had the worst episode ever to start off with the man trap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people, which in some ways kind of hurt it. But then when people started really getting into as it went along, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. I mean, look at Firefly. Fox did an absolutely horrible job with that one, where they had an episode, I don't know how far into the season, where no one knows what the heck is going on. You needed to see that first movie, or that pilot movie, to understand what's going on. If you didn't have that, then forget it. You do need to give sometimes give something a try. Now, if it's an 8-episode season, you expect them to be much more tighter and on the ball.
Yeah, that is a big reason why I think Boba Fett and Kenobi failed as far as pacing goes, because the first several episodes, especially in Book of Boba Fett, were so slow.
Well, and it doesn't matter if you have something that's slow, if it's properly done. So the pacing is properly done. If it's done with the with the proper storytelling, you get rewarded. If it's just slow because you're trying to stretch it out, then you failed.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing that bothered me about the Book of Boba Fett is when they threw the Mandalorian into 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why it bothered me is because it took away from the development of Boba Fett and the characters for that show.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they have 24, 26 episodes per season to basically spread everything out and say, okay, you can have a filler episode here, here, and here.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that luxury.
Right. Oh, exactly. And that's it's a bait. It was like a bait and switch. It's a Book of Boba Fett, and all of a sudden, hey, we got Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yep.
And you don't need that. It's like it's like someone coming onto a stream here and then start promoting their stream in the middle of our stream, saying, "Hey, come over to my thing." It's like, no. This is that stream. Then you can go to the next one. The same thing here. You can get done with this, and then go to Mandalorian season 3.
Mhm.
And
Cash, I know you like talking about this show.
Book of
He
Boobaloo
loved
Doo.
Yes.
he loved it.
Oh, it's such a great show. Yes.
He was so happy they changed the name to Boba Fett Starship.
I thought it was Fire Spray.
Oh, that too. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they even know what.
Slave One. You heard that, Disney? If you're listening, Slave One, shut up, Disney.
Funny enough,
Slave
I
One.
actually have the
Nice.
set in Lego that is actually called Boba Fett Starship. It
Oh
said
my
that
gosh.
on the box of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it did.
You know what? Whatever.
Disney
Yeah.
and some of these other companies, they want to change words, so then people are going to have to follow along, and if you don't, then they can start attacking you with their nonsense. That's the way I look at it. It's another just more confusion. Sorry, I don't care what people say. I'm going to call it Slave One. It doesn't matter to me if somebody like, oh, it's the Starship. No, it isn't. It's the same thing with stuff like Overwatch. They say, oh, excuse me, McCree, or they say Cassidy. I'm like, no, it's McCree. Oh no, we had to change it because I don't care what you say. I'm gonna still call him McCree. That's what the character's name is. No, it's Cassidy. Well, whatever. But I just find all this stuff more confusion and just stupid. And then for whatever reason they want to start some problem where there doesn't need to be a problem.
Well, they love that. It makes them happy. Again, like I said, they a lot of the people in there, they know they can't create, so let's destroy what came before. And a lot of it is the fact that you gain people who are not really trained in the storytelling. They're not trained on how to present a story, and they're doing the infamous fan fiction. And the only big thing is they just have a bigger budget now to do it with.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's why I myself do not look at Disney Star Wars as canon. I look at it as as really it's just its own extended universe, albeit
Mhm.
one with a higher budget that focuses more on visual media than print media.
And here's the thing.
Mhm.
I know Disney doesn't consider any of the books pre-acquisition canon anymore, but a lot of fans still do.
Yeah,
Well,
my copies of
it
those.
is still canon, but it's canon in the EU canon. Then we have
Mhm.
Disney canon. Nothing's been decanonized. It's still there. It's still
Hmm.
Right.
in existence. It hasn't been, taken and burned away so no one can have it where they can sit back and say it's no longer. It's still there. It's its own canon. And whether Disney likes it or not, even George Lucas comes on the fact if it wasn't done anything by him, it is not truly canon.
Yeah,
So that
Yeah.
he even said as much
mhm,
in an interview that he did with some college students over Zoom once. One of
mhm,
them tried to ask him, "Hey, what's your philosophy on the things of the sequel trilogy?" And he said, "I can't comment on that because that's not my stuff."
right, exactly. And so if you want to be hardcore about it, the only thing that's canon is the 6 films, the Clone Wars series, and
And
Shadow of the Empire. Shadow of the
Mhm.
Empire was Lucas was
Mhm.
heavily involved with that.
Oh yeah.
mhm.
We
Uh,
shouldn't also have. Oh, go ahead.
no, no, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
We shouldn't be confused by a series that we watch unless
Mhm.
that's the main goal. We shouldn't be confused about a Star Wars series where we go, wait, he's a crime boss, but he takes his helmet off and he's being happy with the locals and stuff. Where is the you don't do what I say, there's going to be consequences going on?
Right.
Where is that? I don't see that.
Well,
You know,
yeah. Well, that's the cult of Boba Fett. You had so many people out there that was so enamored with Boba Fett they couldn't make him a villain no more. But the
just
thing is that that's why people were so enamored with him. He was a villain. He was a mysterious villain. He kept his
Mhm.
helmet on. He was like
yes.
the anti Judge Dredd. Is
Mhm.
everything that the Mandalorian was in the TV show, in at least the first season and so, is what Boba Fett was. Either you come with me,
Right.
warm or cold. I don't care.
Yeah.
Boba
Yeah, I
Fett was
mean,
not a good guy.
He's not supposed to be, yeah, exactly, he's not supposed to be a good guy, and so they want to change him, and it makes absolutely no sense. And
Hmm.
even Tem was like, what's going on here?
Hmm.
and
What
hello to Pops.
Hey, Pops. Yeah, I don't really understand these decisions, and they're like, oh, these writers can't do this. They don't. I think it's the same with video games. They just don't care. The same thing with stuff like Joel being killed, the way he got killed. It's not about a character dying. Um, it's the way they kill off the character. It's the
Hmm.
Mhm.
way they change a character like Boba Fett.
Yep. Cat got his tongue.
Hey,
Yeah,
Pops.
Hey, pops.
somebody's printing, so
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. Well, that's just it. A lot of the people don't even know what character studies are. That this is how the character is. This is what made the character. Uh, and in many ways, I think a lot of these people want to start throwing themselves into the character, and so the character
Self
starts getting twisted.
self-insert fan fiction is what it is.
Right.
right, right, and that's what you've seen with stuff like I am not Starfire, and this is, and
Hmm.
and the self insert. It can work, but there has to be. It shouldn't be exactly like, oh, I want a character just like me, like I am in real life. Well, that doesn't seem very exciting.
Hmm.
So you need to add to the character, and so I just I don't. I think some of the confusion also, especially a big part of the confusion, is how do we do character development? It shouldn't be that hard, and if you don't know what you're doing or don't and you want to not make something compelling and so on, it's going to be a problem. But
Hmm.
Mhm.
they have all this money, and it's not just the entertainment industry for movies, it's also video games, and a lot of other entertainment, including comics. That's considered entertainment too. um, they can just do a much better job, and these characters are already built, a lot of them. So just continue to build on. But for whatever reason, it's like, I got to push this agenda. And if they don't like this, then too bad. It's the same with the video game. Like, I look at stuff like Monkey Island, Return to Monkey Island, which I guess is considered a sequel.
I hear
Island
Mouse
2.
purring into the microphone. It sounds.
Oh, you heard him? Oh,
Yeah. Hey, Mouse, I dare you to hawk up a fur ball on Baron's shirt.
No, he's never done that. Thank goodness.
But I don't really understand
Talking about that.
these decisions, because it's very confusing, and yet a lot of the stuff that I don't see in anime, I see character development, especially older anime, and it's just one example. But even video games, like, it's all confusion, because you're confused. It's like, well, why are there politics here? And why isn't this character built up? And why did you guys kill this character? And why does somebody even need to think about Sonic and Amy? Amy needs to be more of her own game. Okay, but like, the reason you want that is because you don't feel that Amy's getting enough airtime. What? Because she's a female character? Like, Amy's not a bad character, but because she needs to be this way and loves Sonic, and yet Sonic just thinks of her as a friend. Like, that's character development. And yet the media pushes that. Then what happens is, like, the gaming media, then the companies go, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's do that. And then you just go, what? And you're confused again.
Real quick, before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to PACIFIC414 Pop Talk. Anonymous.
Hey, Anonymous.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome for Phil's channel existing.
Thank you, Paul. That was real nice of you.
Welcome back, Anonymous.
Thank you.
How you feeling, brother?
Have you missed me? Well, I'm still sore, but I'm getting around. I'm back and forth. I even took a drive today and go to the bank.
Oh,
I'm fancy. This is awesome.
Went to the bank.
Went to the bank, cashed a check. It might be my last check I ever get, but that's not the point.
I was going to say he's more cash money than cash money.
I'm sorry for laughing, guys, but look what Pop's put in there. Support Cup fan and sub to PACIFIC414. Okay, yeah, I know I put a lot of baseball analogies in my content, even talking about pop culture, but I can't help it. Two things I like are science fiction and baseball.
Yeah. Well, we all know that the real team in Chicago is the White Sox.
And Pacific is
Thank you, Baron McCracken.
And this season, Pacific's going to be getting me into the Cubs also.
Oh no!
No, Paul, don't do it! Don't do it, man!
Too late.
I'll take the hit of the team, okay?
Yeah, he needs the pain. He needs the pain.
Well, there's going to be a point where you're going to be watching the Cubs and you're going to say this, Paul.
I have had enough of you!
But at the same time, wouldn't it prove that I'm a true fan that I stick with them even though they suck?
I mean, I've done it for
the fan, idiot, whatever you want.
Something years.
Stockholm syndrome.
Being a true fan can be great, can be traumatizing, can be all kinds of crazy stuff. So yes.
Mm-hmm.
But on this subject matter, you look at a game like Jedi Fallen Order. Yes, it came out during the same time as Rise of Skywalker. I believe it actually came out a little earlier than Rise of Skywalker. It came out in March. Yeah, and that game is good. Even though it's in the Disney era, that game is good. I can admit that. I went back and replayed it recently. You can find that video content while it's still up on the Twitch channel, and it's also on PACIFIC414 and so much more.
Yeah.
He needs his pain, so yes.
Yes, but I was able to get through it, and instead of like last time where I did switch it to easy mode on the final boss, yes,
Oh,
I
hold on.
admitted it. Yes, yet
Hold on.
again.
Well, no, you should never said
Say that
that.
again.
I'd already
Mike.
admitted this before. When I first played it. I got to the final boss, and I did switch to easy mode. Not this time.
Someone clip that.
Yes,
All
yes,
toll
I
free.
deserve that. I
1-800
deserve that.
555 noob.
Or
See-
1-800-555-DEAD if you keep dying in Evil West over and over again.
Hey, that's
Wait a minute.
That's a good
Like
thing.
you kept dying in that Star Wars game the other
I don't
night.
know what you're
Okay.
talking about.
Yeah, on easy mode over and over again. That was 555 noob and 555 deb at the same time.
yeah, don't let your friends play on easy mode, please don't.
But
Hey,
I mean that's why I give you such a hard time playing on easy mode, because I've done it a lot. That's why I give you a hard
know.
time.
I know. And Cash, I don't know if you heard me, but when I start streaming Mass Effect again, it's going to be on easy mode.
What? You have it on normal.
I know it. I'm going to downgrade it to easy mode.
This is also part of the confusion of entertainment. Let's put that number up there again, please. Put that number up there again. Remember, do not let your friends play on easy mode. Spread it around, especially on stream. At least play on normal difficulty. Dang it.
Our CPU versus
I
CPU.
like what old man just said there.
I am idiot mode, so what can I say?
Yes, that's why he needs to play Zelda, because he can't play
There's no
any other
modes.
mode but the own.
I do
one
play
mode.
Zelda.
Yes.
I have yet to stream it though.
Well,
Yeah,
wait, you've got to play the original NES game.
Yes,
I tried that once and I got lost.
What?
That's okay. You'll find your way.
Draw a map.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
It's okay. I need to finish Breath of the Wild first.
And
For
and
the
that's
fifth
another
time.
thing I need to bring up about confusion. There's now articles going around where people are saying, "Oh, you know what? I think it would be a good idea that we have more games that are only 3 hours." And I'm like, "Uh-huh. How about we have all the choices we can have, and then you people can shut up?" Can we get that answer? No. That's what I want. So if you want a 3-hour game, cool. Maybe somebody wants to play a 60-hour game. Maybe somebody wants to play a 120-hour game or whatever, however long it takes. Usually like some kind of Japanese RPG.
If somebody wants to die at the keyboard, let them.
That's right. If somebody wants to die. Yeah,
I
make
mean,
sure to eat when you
Is that how
eat
Cash
games,
is going to
by the
go?
way.
Yes.
You look at it this way, Cash.
Yes.
Look at it this way. When you're playing a game, you want to get your money's worth out of the game.
Yes.
If it's
Yeah.
only a 3-hour game, I'm sorry, it's not worth $60 if that's what they're charging.
No.
If they're 3-hour games, are they going to be $30?
Exactly.
Right.
What was Stray? Stray's a 3-hour game. It's $40, right? Should it be $40?
I don't think
Some
so.
people say the first hour and they're bored after 1 hour. So
Yeah, you should pay for what the time and effort they put into it. If you make a cheap, short, stinking game, you should get short profits.
Mhm.
Yep. I don't really understand it, because I get these companies want to make money, and this is another confusion I have. All they do is leave money on the table. People are like, "Hey guys, wouldn't it be great if we could get a new Splinter Cell?" No, you're going to get a remake Splinter Cell. You can go screw off. What? No.
Is it
We're
the Water
gonna-
Temple DJ? Because that's understandable.
You'll get there, Ronnie. You'll get there.
Yeah, you'll do it.
I don't really understand it. All this confusion. Like, I would tell people even something going back to movies like Babylon. Babylon is weird and it's creepy and it gets very disgusting at times, but it also can be interesting. And even though it bombed at the box office, there's things I liked about it. I wouldn't buy it on Blu-ray or something, but or 4K or whatever. But there's things I liked about it, but people didn't take to it and it bombed. But something like
Here's another
Avatar,
thing with confusion too,
Make sense.
Cash,
Yeah, go ahead.
is A Christmas Story Christmas. I think that movie could have been released for a limited time in the theaters, and I think it
Yeah.
would have made a
Me
profit.
too.
I
Yeah,
think so too.
Yeah,
I think
Great
so.
movie.
It is.
no, that's cool. I haven't watched it, so I have really no opinion on it.
They should have put it out in one fashion or another that way, because it was, again, this is the type of movie that we've all been asking for, and we got.
Yep. Well, I'm glad you guys liked it, and
Mhm.
it made you guys feel something, which
Mhm.
is another thing that we have a confusion
Jay,
about.
DJ, listen to me. Here's how you beat the Desert Beast. Leave, go do the eagle first, then come back to the Desert Beast when you're more powerful.
Oh, just let them figure it out.
That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Um, I don't really understand why you're these companies and you want to make money and you leave all the money on the table from not making a new Jet Set Radio. Which, why don't they put out more polls and say, hey guys, would you guys like this? They probably, a lot of people would say yes. Rayman, RAY, not Rain Man. And
Definitely a video game. Definitely.
yes. And people would like more of that. What are they offended because there's women in there that have a big chest? Oh no! Guess what, people? Women have big chests in real life. What? That can't be true. That must be a
I
lie.
point to Exhibit A, Dolly Parton.
Yeah, and we're thankful for that too.
We're all thankful for that.
Mhm. I mean, bless them all, bless them all, bless the short, the big, and the tall. Wow.
But it's just amazing to me that they leave money on the table. They think these movies, when they don't do well, they start attacking the fans.
Mhm.
Even people like Ridley Scott attacked the fans for The Last Duel. I think it was The Last Duel, yeah, which is based on a true story, and it's a really good movie. But he's like, "Oh, younger people didn't go see it." I said, "I don't think that movie was marketed very well." That's
No.
another
No,
problem.
that's a big problem with current Hollywood is their marketing. Whether it's a new show or a new movie, they don't market certain movies as well as they market other big tentpole movies. And yes, I know it's because they're big tentpole, but you've got to market these movies because somebody might be missing out on a great movie that, yeah, it's not making bank at the box office, but it's worth seeing.
Speaking of stupid marketing for a show, let's talk again about Andor for a second. As I said, even though it wasn't a show necessarily for me, I did like Andor. And a lot of what they claimed that show would be, for example, claiming that Mon Mothma would be a Nancy Pelosi type character, love her or hate her, that's your prerogative, not to be political. But I was looking for that and I didn't see it. Mon Mothma.
Yeah. Why don't you come out
Mothma.
and disenfranchise people before the show comes out? And even if she lied, I don't know where she might have got that, but if it didn't play like that, why would you open your mouth and just tell everybody, "Oh, my show's woke, don't watch it"?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Phil, we don't even know what you look like, dude. You could be an android for all we know.
Phil, let's be honest. You wish you could look this good.
I've already shown what I think Phil looks like. Paul, did you get that? I emailed that to you.
No, you haven't yet.
Yes, I emailed it to you. It's in your.
He's just Phil McCracken's just.
I'll have to go
cranky,
back and look.
He needs his pills and he needs a nap probably again.
Yeah, he definitely needs
probably.
a nap. Pudding first.
Well, yeah, I mean, good marketing has been absolutely horrible going out there, and they want to put all this marketing stuff that's almost guaranteed for people to watch. Yeah. Marketing is supposed to be for stuff that people don't really know about, and you want to get that word out there. But no, we got to spend all this time on. No, we know that this the Avenger film is going to make a lot of money, but we're going to still put all this money into advertising it, including the Super Bowl or whatever.
Right. Yeah, look how much money they spend. They double the actual production budget to advertise it. Now you look at a list of all the 2022 movies that came out, and tell me how many you didn't even know existed.
Most of them.
Most of them. The good majority of them, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of these are low budget movies too, and all they have to do with a low budget movie is just make a few $1 million profit, and it's not that hard if they tried hard enough.
Right.
Hard, well, I mean, you know what I mean. But when you got a $20 million budget for a movie, you can advertise it a little bit, maybe throw another 10 on that, and maybe get 60 million at the butt. You doubled your money.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, back in the day, I mean, before we had, of course, the internet and such like that, when it came around to those of us that are in the nerd kingdom and queendom, it was, we had Starlog magazine, and we'd be finding out about stuff through that, about, oh, what's this, what's that, and you get excited. I mean, they have articles about gremlins and various others, even stuff that we didn't even really fully know of, like Wizard of Time and Space and Transers and such. And it got us fired to want to look for it, if not necessarily in the theater, but of course when it came around to cable and started watching it on there on the VHS.
Yeah, at the video store, man. You just go browsing through the video store every freaking weekend and find something cool that came out or something that looks really good. The covers for those movies were just fantastic. Although some of the movies sucked to high heaven, but
but but even then, you didn't really feel like you got gypped because it was they were so hysterically bad. Sometimes it was just like you got done. It's like that was bad, but it was so much fun. You end up doing the MST3K treatment to it before MST3K. Riffing along with everybody.
How do you think that came about?
Oh, exactly. That's exactly where it came about. And but we don't have that no more. I mean, Starlog's gone the way. We have so much with the internet, and the studios are so myopic in that they believe that the only thing that's important is a quote unquote blockbuster, and that's not the important thing. Getting as many people in to see your movies is the thing. Yeah. Whether it's a low budget film or the blockbuster, and anywhere in between. You want them to see all these films. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And talking about advertising for movies, a very interesting movie, a movie that had a very interesting advertising campaign was this one right here, the first Sonic movie. Because we all remember when the first trailer, I'll show it again, specifically the first Sonic movie. Because we all remember the first trailer dropped and Sonic looked terrible, and everyone complained about that. And the studio actually said, "All right, we hear you. We're going to delay the movie and make Sonic look better." And the movie succeeded for it, and the second movie was even better.
Right.
And real quick, I just need to address something in the chat. Jet. It's not about anybody holding up the panel or holding up the show. If you recall, on the December 18th edition of Pop Talk, the Sunday edition, I said changes were coming to Pop Talk in 2023. And I mentioned that the open panels would only be going to 2 open panels per month. And that I would be handing out invitations. I will definitely send you out an invitation in the future. But I am trying to keep the panels to a small minimum.
And if I don't get an invitation, sometimes it's no big deal. I'll watch later. I'll watch it when I can, or if I'm there, I'll watch, and it's all right.
Also, Phil, I just ruined my pillow for you.
That's an inside joke.
Very inside.
Yeah. Very much so.
But this silly argument about you just like the women for eye candy, blah blah blah. Well, women like the eye candy too. They like the handsome men. They like to see the men half naked. I mean, look at if you take a look, you had Conan, you have the Beastmaster, you have the Fabio covers of all these romance novels.
Yeah.
Even recent examples like naked Thor in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yep.
Right.
That was something for the girls.
Right. And it's like it goes both ways. Let the guys have their eye candy, let the girls have their eye candy. I'm not interested in seeing your eye candy. You don't have to worry about my eye candy.
Isn't it time for your pills again, Phil? I don't think you took enough.
No,
Hey,
yeah.
guys, I gotta go ahead and split early. Jonathan's calling me again. I think he needs me to go pick him up from a basketball game. Okay.
Okay.
No.
So real quick before I go, there will likely be a gaming stream later on my channel. Maybe some Among Us, maybe Skyrim. I don't know which yet, but it'll probably be about 9:00 Eastern. So hopefully I see you guys then.
Don't get Phil too excited.
He's
You
trying
said the
to.
S
He's
word.
promoting himself again, Mike.
I
What we
know.
got to do? Check button.
He's allowed to. He's leaving the show
I
at this moment. So
Wait a moment.
He is
We all
allowed
voted that
to.
he is never allowed to anymore because of, you guessed it, you're right. He is never to do that again because you guessed it, you're right. This.
I must have missed that vote.
I'm kidding.
I know.
Actually, hold on a second. I'm just gonna mute myself real quick. Jonathan's sending me some very confusing text messages. Let me clear this up real quick. Maybe I'll be able to stay on the panel. Maybe not. Just give me a quick second.
Do you realize that he is doing exactly what Phil McCracken wants him to do? Mute himself.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Don't feed the beast.
You're feeding the Phil. You're feeding the McCracken,
man. And if you can hear me, Paul, make sure check. I know it's stupid, but just check your email and forward that on to Phil because I like for him to look at his fantastic art and think of me.
But back on topic a little bit here. The thing is we are. I think the entertainment industry is confused because they know they have to do something, but they know that they've been infiltrated so much by all this talentless people who are running amok. People who don't know. I mean, the people with ROP, Ring of Power. They confess they don't know a damn thing about Tolkien, but they wanted to go ahead with their own little whatever it was.
That's confusion, for sure.
Yeah, and what was I think Pops was saying earlier that this one Star Wars story show coming up.
Bad Batch.
No.
Ahsoka?
The Acolyte.
The Acolyte. Thank you, Acolyte. That these people don't know a damn thing about Star Wars. Never even seen the original. And it's like if you're going to start playing in the sandbox, you have to see what the source material is, what the universe is about. If you're serious, if you are a real storyteller, if you are really intent on promoting the genre or that particular universe.
Yeah, Hollywood did this to themselves, really, because they didn't infiltrate. These talentless people didn't infiltrate particularly. They were hired because of activism and they were cheap, probably. Did they push out all the actual talent? Yeah, probably, because they move. They can get into certain movies or certain companies or whatever, and still do a couple things. Because we have a few good.
I know a good example actually of that.
TV shows, but yeah,
I know a good example of that. It's Mr. Cameron Pasha. He was the head writer on that cartoon Tron Uprising, and I haven't seen it, but from what I've heard, when he was involved, it was actually a good show. And he got the boot because he didn't follow along with the talking points that everyone else did, and he got replaced, and the show went downhill and ultimately got canceled.
See, that's exactly what happened all across Hollywood. I guarantee you.
Well,
they won't toe the line. You got to go. You're problematic. You're toxic. You don't belong here anymore. They pushed all these people out to bring in their puppets.
What about that writer who was on Discovery? I can't remember his name, but he was talking about his own life experience growing up as a black man, and somebody whined and cried to human resources at CBS and got him fired.
Yep, par for the. I don't remember his name either. I remember hearing that, but yeah, par for the course. It's just you can't live with these people. You can't work with them. You can't interact with them on a human level anymore. because they can't take. They're so sensitive and thin skinned. They can't take any sort of real life interaction with people. They're probably they're phone jockeys. They thrive on Twitter, and like I said, they probably wouldn't have said anything to that guy. They just hit a story, nodded. Then they went to HR and said, "Oh, this guy's toxic. Oh, you got to go."
Well, yeah. Well, Uprising, whatever happened with it, even if it was the writer who was fired, they moved it. That's another part of the confusion with these shows. Hey, let's move it. Just like you guys before brought up Firefly, or Baron, I think, brought up Firefly. That what was Fox doing to that show? It's the time they put it on. It's the same thing with stuff like Agent Carter, and I had a discussion with my friends like, oh, people didn't like Agent Carter before they're a female. Well, I said, well, they're stupid and ignorant because Agent Carter was a badass. And now, of course, once again, the confusion comes. Now we need Captain Carter. We really don't. That was just a what if situation. That doesn't mean we need an actual movie of Captain Carter. No, we just don't. We don't need it. It's not because she's a woman. It's because Agent Carter is a badass. And so that show, you could just tell, just like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I felt, they put a lot of love and time into it. And it was very interesting. And she's just a badass. And then it's like, oh, well, it's 2 seasons. Then they started moving it around certain days. ABC did. And it was just like, here we go again. It's the same stuff. If you guys remember that old show, Thief, back in the day on FX. It was on for like a few episodes and it bombed. And I think it's also the marketing. I think same stuff with, I don't know if you guys ever watched The Unit. The Unit was really good show.
It was a real good show.
Really good show. Good balance between family life and military missions, and the camaraderie between the characters. And after they were like, oh, well, we can't afford this anymore. So, okay. And then, so what do? They put on like a weaker version on Hallmark called Army Wives. Well, this is like a poor man's version, I feel, or like a soap opera version of The Unit. And I just, it still blows my mind. Like the confusion, it's been going on for years, and it just seems to keep getting worse and worse and worse. And now we've got these streaming services that are becoming more and more a part of entertainment. And it's like, well, do you want to pay for this? And how much entertainment is it? I find a lot of streaming services, if you own them, HBO Max stuff, watching a lot of older stuff than newer things on there, newer shows.
Well, same with using Tubi. I find myself watching older shows that are available on there.
Yep.
I've done it.
And Pluto TV with all the old network, old shows that they have on there. Yeah.
I know one show on there that you'll be watching a lot of, Pacific. Autobots transform and roll out.
Actually, I have watched that. And you know what? I'm not doing this to appease Phil. I'm just doing it just because I can. There we go. There we go, Autobots.
Nice.
I mean,
Transform.
Another thing. Why does a Transformers cartoon series have to have a transgender robot? They're robots. They don't have a gender.
Wait, hold on. What?
Does the new one have that?
The movie.
Yeah.
The new movie.
Wait, the new series, the one on Nickelodeon or whatever?
The new series on Paramount Plus,
Sparks or whatever it's called?
Yes, has a non-binary transformer. They're all non-binary. They're computers systems. They're robots.
Show me Optimus as Dawn, and I'll believe you.
Yeah, see that female? See away from that female transform over there. She's got a dipstick.
Oh my god!
I'm not making this up. I talked about it a few weeks ago on Pop Talk.
Right
Yep, I remember that.
That's more confusion. I just, to me, they're robots. They're transformers. They don't need.
They don't.
They're robots in disguise.
Well, Yes, RC was a female Autobot. Female Autobots were introduced in season 2 of Transformers.
Yep.
G1.
Or was she?
No.
Uh,
So
I mean, it's geared toward kids.
Mm.
Why are you putting your thoughts and beliefs and forcing them on kids? Why?
Well, because that's
kids,
how you get to them.
they want it to become the normal for some reason. I don't know. It's just weird, but that's just more confusion because they're robots.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As far as why they want to do it with kids, because kids are innocent and I'm guessing, get off on ruining that innocence.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's an agenda.
Mhm.
Kids are malleable. Kids are like putty in their hands. They know this. They've known this for decades.
I know. They knew it back in the 80s. Hey, guess what? If we make this cartoon series and have toys built around it, or toys first and then the cartoon series, kids will bug their parents and say, "Get me that Transformer. Get me that GoBot. Give me that new He-Man."
GoBots. You hear
figure."
that, Phil? GoBots.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was
Yes.
centered around selling toys. Playmates funded the money for the animated series, and the animated series helped sell the toys.
But you also had stuff like He-Man and but a few of the others there where they had the moral at the end of the story.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So-
G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
He-Man.
You know,
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
Oracle
and
come out there.
that's another confusion. Why don't we have those? Oh, we don't need those morals anymore. I think it would be good. And the confusion is change the characters, change this. Same with games, make it for modern sensibilities. It just goes on and on and on and on. It's crazy. No one asked for GoBots. How do you know? GoBots was popular, Phil. If it wasn't,
and I knew
GoBots are
kids
cool,
that
man.
had GoBots and Transformers, myself included, and we mixed them in. We didn't care.
Yeah, more the merrier.
Yeah.
Inclusive. It was an inclusive party. Unlike Phil, who isn't inclusive.
No,
I'm waiting for
anti-GoBot.
Phil's GoBots version. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
The Philbots, the Philbots.
You beat me to it.
Dun, 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 dun.
The giant
Here we
giant
go.
kraken that transforms into
Here we
an
go.
old man.
Name 5 GoBots. Yes, let me think about GoBots. The names of
Psykill, Thrasher,
Oh yeah.
Leader 1, Scooter, and Turbo.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Got me beat. Nice job, Mike.
Yep.
You did it.
Nice.
I started remembering the names once you started saying them, but other than that, they've been locked in the back.
Yeah,
of
me either.
It's like
I just think it's funny how upset GoBots makes Phil. It's great.
yeah.
It's great.
He thinks of them as the wish of Transformers.
Yeah, and
Transformers wish.
here's more confusion. However, you feel like they rushed the new Voltron series, and the animation looks really good. And then they're telling you that Keith, if you know about Voltron, isn't in love with the princess. What?
Like he was
Keith
in
is
the
in love with
84
a man.
series.
What? That's confusing to me. Why? Why does Keith have to be? Well, and then people will say, "Well, why can't it be that way?" And I'm like, "Because it's ridiculous." Keith was in love with the princess. Why do we change this? I don't understand these things.
Again, it's part of the character study.
Or why kill off He-Man and make She-Ra the focus of the He-Man show?
Yeah,
Well, because
and then they're
well,
like,
in the
"Oh,
Kevin
but
Smith series,
no,
it was
really was
Tila.
about He-Man." Yes, it's about Tila, and Tila sits there because me, Crit, and
I can't
the other
believe you didn't
people-
tell me about your secret.
Right, I can't believe you didn't
Yeah.
tell me that he was He-Man.
Yeah. That's why it was a secret.
And so
Mhm.
it's like, really? You're going to do this? And so then you hear, and here's more confusion. Oh, well, I think someone like Seth Rogen deserves to get a reboot of Turtles. What? And then you look at that animation, and it's confusing.
We just lost Baron.
Yeah, it says device is not connected, so maybe it's just a short malfunction, and he'll be back.
This is all confusion to me. Like, does
You're an idiot.
Seth Rogen? Let's sit down. let's see if we can get an interview with Seth Rogen. We'll sit down and say, what do you know about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I wish we could tag him on Twitter and say, what do you know about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
But that'd be cruel. You can't do that. You're being toxic by doing that. How dare you question?
And here's the thing, Cash. When you ask him what does he know about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what are you referring to? Just the animated series, or are you talking about the comic that inspired the animated series and all the toys that we received afterwards?
He'll probably just say that all that hard work for making coleslaw. That's all you got.
Coleslaw is disgusting.
That's right.
You had the wrong coleslaw.
Yeah, I mean, there's some coleslaw out there that's just divine.
I make
Here's the thing, though. Here's why I say coleslaw is disgusting. I've told this story before. I used to work at a KFC my senior year of high school. I worked there for a grand total of 2 days. My second day that I was there, they had me for about 15 minutes or so scooping coleslaw out of, I kid you not, one of those giant plastic storage totes into those little to-go cups. I was never a big fan of coleslaw before that, but I will never touch coleslaw again after that. It is.
You've got to go to a place where they serve good coleslaw. That's all I'm saying.
I do not care. All coleslaw to me can go burn in hell.
Oh.
Oh my God! Wait, guys! Yeah, I think the rest of you missed it. I caught it. You hear what he said?
I heard what he said.
Hell is not a bad word. It is a bad place.
Still.
Potty mouth.
Yeah, potty mouth. potty mouth.
It could be worse. It could have been me on the vacuum accidentally dropping the F-bomb.
Wait.
You did that?
You dropped the F-bomb?
I did that.
What?
Yes.
You said fart.
No, I said the big one. The F -- word.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
In my defense,
there
was no other word that I could have used to make my point.
Okay.
Okay. We'll believe that. We'll believe that for now.
You don't need to ask for my forgiveness, Paul. You got to ask for Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I will send you to Jesus.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, I really am going to go ahead and split now because I haven't had dinner yet, and I figure I better get dinner now before I have to drive out and get John again. So thank you for having me on here, Baron and Mike.
Oh, welcome. Yeah, happy.
Yep. And like I said before, guys, gaming stream. I don't know what game yet on my channel at 9. Hope to see you guys there. If it is an Among Us stream, I will do my best to make sure that the Discord issues we were having last night don't happen again. Looking at you, Phil. But in the meantime, see you guys later.
Hey, Paul.
See you later, Paul.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul. Take it easy.
Okay.
See you later.
Bye.
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 See you in St. Louis, Screwy.
But you look at this past year in Hollywood, and you get a movie like Top Gun, which was great in my book.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
It was one of those movies that, as I've said before, you didn't think you wanted it. You were thinking, great, 36 years after the first one, and we're finally getting the Top Gun sequel. Yeah. We don't need it by now, but you go and watch it, and it's a great movie. It's a worthy successor to the first one.
I mean, when I first heard it was coming out, I'm going, really? Did we really need this film? And, Tom Cruise, and, of course, Kelly McGillis, she wasn't going to be coming back for many reasons. But, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it, but I haven't seen it yet. I hope to see it sometime soon.
I know somebody who has it, and
yeah, man, you got to watch
friends
it.
with him on Discord, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Long Suffering saw it. She took her cousin to see it, but of course I was not along, so I didn't get to go see it.
It's out on 4K. I got it for Christmas.
Nice.
Did they have a big ad campaign behind it? Honestly, I really don't know. Did they have a huge ad campaign?
I
No,
don't
I
think
don't
it was as
remember.
big as it should have been.
No, see, it got delayed at first because it came out. They started advertising for it,
It
and
was
then
supposed to come out in June of 2020.
yeah, right before or right during COOF, and then they delayed it. And there was a big stink about removing the Taiwan flag off his jacket, blah blah blah, and then they put it back on. And that actually healed a little bit of distrust, I guess, for the movie. They weren't capitulating to China, and
nor should they.
And then exactly. But then I didn't remember when it came out. I don't remember seeing a ton of advertising for it.
No.
So it's hard to say what they did and where they sent their advertising. I don't know. I don't watch TV. I don't watch cable TV anymore.
Yeah.
Don't do a lot of streaming services. I have a couple that every once in a while. I don't. But I'm on YouTube a lot. Twitter. I haven't done Facebook, but it all depends on where they're throwing their money at, and I don't really know. They weren't throwing it in my direction. So who knows?
And look, Phil's now on the panel.
Now I see Paul went off. He's gonna play Skyrim tonight. I want Skyrim. And no GoBots.
Well, now he's got something to do while he falls asleep.
But yeah, I mean, we know Hollywood is capable of giving us good content. We know these video games are capable of giving us good content that we all want to play these games. We all want to watch these movies, TV shows, and even books. It's filtered into books.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to read newer, get excited about anything newer. I mean, I was flipping through some of my old Dragon magazines, and inside there they have the thing for the science fiction book club. You get so many books for so much, and then you join the club. And I'm going, back then, it was like a joy to get that catalog and peruse through there and go, oh, I want this book, I want this book, I want this book. I can't even think about. I don't even know if the science fiction book club is even out there anymore. But it's like, there's nothing for me to get excited about it in this day and age because, even the authors now are just doing word salad with a lot of the writing out there. It's hard to find it, and of course, if you're a Games of Thrones fan, you're never going to see the end of that series. He's never going to get to it. So it's like I love immersing myself in the older books that I have. Even older gaming systems. I mean, look at Dungeons and Dragons just bending over backwards to be absolutely idiotic.
Yeah, you can blame Hasbro for that because I believe they're the current license holder for it.
Yeah, they've owned them for a long time because it was bought by WotC or Wizard of the Coast, and Wizard of the Coast got bought out by Hasbro, and then there you go. Boom. It goes into Crap City as it goes along. It's like. No, there's nothing.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, there's nothing different amongst anybody anymore. It's like the important thing about the game was to have strengths and weaknesses with everybody. That's why that was so important. It taught us in some ways life lessons that way. Yeah, 3.5. That's 3.5 and before. I mean, first edition, second edition, 3.5. You had those to build off of. And, if you got a bad stat, well, you played with it. Just like GURPS and a lot of the other role-playing games out there. It's not supposed to be fair.
Life is not fair.
Exactly.
But that's why they want equity.
The
philosophy is very flawed in a lot of ways, but yeah, that's the whole point. They want everything to be even playing field. They want everybody to start out at the bottom and stay there.
Yeah, basically that's what it was.
I don't know what they changed about D&D recently. I heard something about it, but I haven't really looked into the details of it. So
yeah, just call it vanilla. Dungeons and vanilla. I mean, it's bland now.
because we know stuff like there's no diversity like those orcs, man. We need
no.
that. That's not diversity.
Right, and it's like,
Or-
we don't have races or species now, and you can't breed between elves and humans anymore, so you can't have half elves. And I don't know, it's just
Wait, no half elves, no more. What?
I know that's what I'm hearing. It's like, okay,
Oh,
I'm done with you
gosh.
guys as it goes. Just like,
Dude, it's just like the people attacking TSR. Another confusion to me. Who did great artwork. Just great artwork.
back in the day with the old D&D and all that, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I cannot recommend it enough. Art of the Genre. So I believe it's on Amazon. Watch it. It's all about those artists of the old days of D&D. But at the very end, you see at that time who the art director was for WotC, and you can understand why things are going to shit fast.
Interesting.
Because it's like you look at, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I really don't. And they certainly don't know what species they were. But they're all dressed up like an elf. You're doing this for a respectable documentary, and you dress up as a freaking freak. Or you watch Will Wheaton and doing his D&D. Or they had one with Frost on it and a bunch of others, and they're just prancing around. It's like, this is, excuse me, let's bring it back. Normally I'm for including people in. But in this case, no. Let's just close the freaking door and leave it back to the nerds. Let's bring it back to before it was so cool.
Because guess what? As nerds, we are diverse.
Yeah, we are.
Mm-hmm.
We are.
I mean,
yeah. Look at that mug.
Oh wow!
Look at the art on this cover.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's awesome. It holds up still very well, and you can just tell the time and the effort people put into these shows. That's what the confusion. Just like what we did when we were talking about the whole Joker thing.
Oh yeah,
it's lazy. Just like I feel. Why did people look at the art of Return of Monkey Island and said, "What is this?" It's like Block Party meets Minecraft, and people were like, "Oh, the game's really good." Well, that's great, but I can't get past that art to be like, "Oh, I really want this."
Yeah,
I just can't. It seems silly, but I just can't do it.
I mean, this is about almost 40 years old.
I didn't know.
Yeah, just like my Masters of the Universe book is 40 years old.
Who knew Mike Lindell, man, was part of that guy? Looks like that's awesome.
You buy my pillows or I'll shoot you.
Yeah, I mean, right there, talk about a cover that conveys feeling. It's like, boy, it's like not an enviable situation.
No.
Mm-hmm. Right there, just it's not complex. It's right and straight to the point. We're effed.
Yeah, that's what they did. It just I don't. It's just the more confusion in the video games. It's not just that. The award shows are too. They used to be very entertaining and funny, and now it seems like if they're gone, who really cares? The awards are still nice. Like I still watch the Golden Globes and the Emmys and the Oscars here and there. Sometimes I'll skip parts of it, but it's not entertaining. They get these hosts. It's like, oh, we better not make this joke, but we'll make this joke.
So you're the one person who's watching it.
Yeah,
the one person.
I blackpilled on the award shows like years ago.
But they used to be fun. MTV used to be fun, and then they just start changing all this stuff. Even the Kids' Choice Awards for kids, I think those shows are still fun, but I don't know
What's the last time you heard anything about the Kids Choice or the whatever it was.
Oh,
Or
no.
it was a Nickelodeon thing, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Isn't it a thing they dump the slime on the guests still?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the last time I heard anything about that was when Chris Pratt went up there to accept an award for Guardians of the Galaxy or something, and gave a Christian message.
Oh yeah,
kind of
right.
hidden in his speech, and that turned out to be a big freaking deal to some people. So
Yeah.
and after that, I haven't heard anything about that. Since then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nobody cares anymore about these things, stupid shows. They're just masters of the universe sitting around patting each other on the back now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And Ricky Gervais was the highlight.
Yeah.
The highlight of the freaking
the
thing.
Golden Globes or
we
whatever
all
award
sat
show
around
was.
and just ate that up.
Yeah, it was hilarious. You know,
That was top tier. I don't give a front door.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, it was. And
It was
even
glorious.
the joke that Chris Rock made against Jada Pinkett Smith, like it's just their jokes. They're supposed to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
He's a comedian.
You can't make fun of people anymore.
Yeah, and so they'll make fun of people.
It's because we've forgotten how to laugh because comedy, as it is dead.
It's pretty awful, and that's another confusion. Like, are we ever going to see the comedies that we deserve to see with funny stuff, stereotypes, this and that of all kind of different races? I doubt it. Not with the way Hollywood's going. Maybe again, but somebody's going to have to say, "Well, screw you guys. I'm going to do this,"
and it's going to happen.
Yep.
It's going to happen. I mean, like I said, we're going to see dark days, before we get there. But it's going to be a matter of, well, I started about a year ago saying this, 5 years. So about 4 years. We're starting to see some turnaround now. I mean, when you have the controller for BBC Radio 4 saying that 2022 was a horrible year for them because they forgot that people need escapism. And so it's like we're going to start going back to doing more comedies and drama and such. Oh, and of course, at the end, they also threw in climate change, which means they got half the message. But the thing is the controller at BBC4, that mess of governmental propaganda understands it and going forward and making these statements. It means that there's some inroads going on here. And, next year or this year, we got a couple good films around the corner with Doom Part 2 and Hitchhiker's, Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3. Let's hope there's even more. I mean, we have to keep our eyes peeled, and we need to tell each other. And this is going to be the forum because they don't want to promote it. Let us promote it then. Just like, let us be the new Starlog.
Another movie that everybody, including myself, is looking forward to seeing is Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, exactly.
So crazy.
Oh, that looks insane.
It just looks insane. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go to the movies and watch that one. We don't care. Me and my kid and my wife are like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch that. I don't care if it's dumb, as long as I get some chuckles out of it.
Oh, you will.
I am hoping it's dumb. That's what I want. I want a dumb, stupid, fun film. And I mean, from everything we've seen so far on the previews or the trailer, that's what looks like what this film is going to be. And we need that. And if we start seeing more of this and we start rewarding it, then we're going to start hopefully having the studios turn around saying, yeah, let's start getting some of this fresh blood in or get some of this other talent in.
Hashtag make Cocaine Bear $1 billion.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Another movie I'm considering giving a chance. Megan. That looks interesting.
That's supposed to be, I think they said they made that PG-13 for some reason.
Yeah, it is.
It's too bad. They said it wanted to. I guess they wanted to appeal to more audience, but it just won't be as violent as your. It could still.
It won't be like Chucky. It won't be like Child's Play.
that freaking puppet. Always causing people problems.
Yeah. That doll freaks me out, man. I hate dolls.
Well, that's the point. It's a freaky thing. Well, that's the other thing too. I find it confusing also if you haven't watched many horror movies. They're like, oh, we got all the violence, but is there a story there? Is there much of a story? Oh no, we got all this blood and gore and stuff. Like I look at things like even going back to Hostel, and I'm like, did this need to ever be made? What is the point of this movie?
Well, yeah,
it grossed me out.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened to the guy's testicles and stuff like that.
See, Dempsey, what Megan's about is about a gold digger that was on a game show that goes to England and usurps the royal family and drags along her redheaded husband to Canada, who has connections because the money he's putting in the G strings of the strippers in Canada has his grandmother's face on, so they had to go down to California. That's what this film's all about.
It's a terrible show. A terrible movie. You don't want to watch it.
Terrible. Yeah, you don't.
And real quick, Dempsey was asking about Megan, so I'm going to show a little bit of the trailer. I'm not going to show too much.
All right.
All right. So let me bring it up here. And I'm going to hit play. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
I designed it to protect Katie from feeling lonely. She will recognize you as her primary user. And when you do that, you pair with her.
Crazy. It's insane, right?
Okay, that's freaky. Oh, producer of Annabelle. Ah.
Look nice, biting my eyes.
Now I'm just going to go ahead and...
Yeah.
I'm just putting down the volume because of the music.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it up just a little bit.
What are you doing?
Couldn't sleep. Occupational hazard.
Occupational hazard.
Just the face, man. The face.
It's creepy.
I know.
Right? Now, Dempsey was saying that they gender swapped Chucky's.
basically, he's not wrong.
No,
this is Chucky for a new generation.
Mm-hmm.
Just a full size Chucky.
But the thing is, I just feel like they're not.
It is produced by Universal, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of crossover.
You know, and it can still be creepy because they can do stuff off screen, and you're like, oh no,
right?
That kid's gonna die.
Sound effects and screams
and reactions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Megan looks creepy as heck, just like Chucky. It's like, oh, great.
Sometimes the most frightening things is what you do not see and you imagine.
That's right.
If they can pull it off.
Yeah.
Right.
And the audience has imagination. Yeah.
Yeah. They can.
They can.
Yeah.
I mean, like in Psycho, you never saw the knife. You never saw the knife touch.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And, it's basically, those quick shots, the look on the face, and the chocolate syrup being poured down the drain.
Yeah, but even though, and back then, people weren't desensitized to this sort of stuff. We've seen some very grotesque things in our days. And
oh, yeah, we have.
And if you're seeing Psycho from the perspective, not like us who grew up like that, but like somebody who was born in, say, 2005 or whatever. I don't know. My math sucks. So, somebody who's 16 now, who's never seen Psycho, never seen all those old movies, only knows what he's seen in the recent days. You show them Psycho now, they're like, well, this is boring. What the crap? They don't even show anything. Oh my God. So it's a different age, different sensibilities.
Right.
So they have to ramp up the gore or be very good at editing and storytelling to get their point across to these without making it a rated R.
Well, and that's just it. A lot of people don't have that ability to do the storytelling to be able to the frame a scene to scare the dickens out of you without you seeing what it's about.
I just feel like I think it's more they just don't care, and there's more the confusion. Either they want to push some political point, or they're just like, I know this is amazing, and we're just going to go with this. Or there's too many yes men around. I think all those come into play in that situation. Instead of people being like, look, we can start doing this, but what is something that we grew up with or what we loved, and so. But I just think it's more. I don't know if if it's the talent or not the talent. I think it's just they don't care, and some of them do, but then there's other ones that don't.
The ones that do usually get shut down.
Let me ask this question: could it be that there are writers out there in Hollywood who do care, who do want to write a good script that has good characters, along with a good story, but it's the suits that keep interfering with the work?
Yeah.
Yes,
you got a lot of that.
Yep, and I think that's what happened, of course, with EA. I mean, EA is a perfect example. How many companies they killed that they bought? They just killed them as in they didn't let them. They had too much say in the companies. From Westworld, Westwood, not Westworld.
You said Wood.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And the other ones, but. They I'm trying to think of the ones who did EverQuest. I can't remember the company who did EverQuest. I think it was them too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got a mental block on my name. Evercrack is this was called.
Evercrack. Yeah. Yeah. But they take on these properties and they ruin this stuff. Even stuff like Sims. The Sims games are fun, but there's just too many expansions, and you're spending, if you wanted to buy them all, like over $200. It's insane. And then Sims 3 has, of course, more content than Sims 4, and then there'll probably be a Sims 5, and on and on and on and on.
Well, and that's another thing that relates to confusion with entertainment. We're no longer getting games that are complete games anymore.
No.
There's always add-on after add-on after add-on, patch after patch after patch.
DLCs. Yep.
Yeah, DLCs. It's like, I just want the game to be complete. And once again, there's going to be a Wonder Woman game at some point, which I would be fine with, but it has to be interesting. Yep. And if it's just broken up into parts, and if it's going to be like Gotham Knights, where it's a game that's not really worth $60, I would say for $23, $30 probably. And there's some fun stuff in the game, but the story is just kind of throwaway, and they don't lead. Things that I've seen in the story already, they don't really lead like, oh wait, can we go off and do stuff with Talia or something? No, thanks guys, that's cool. Yet then the other confusion is like, well, why is a game like the Shredder's Revenge so fun? Because it's just they're fun games. Those arcade style type games are still fun, and
it's
added
a
more
nice
to
throwback
it.
too. Arcade beat 'em ups that we used to get in the 80s and into the 90s.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. So they deserve the attention. I'm glad to see a game like that has gotten attention from a lot of different websites. Oh, this is one of the better beat 'em up games, or this was nominated at the Game Awards. Where I'm like, good, we're seeing things, but
it's another reason why I like the Evil West, because it's not like other AAA titles where they're forcing one thing down your throat and saying you have to play in this one play style. No, it is taking some elements of some popular games like God of War, but it's also doing its own thing at the same time.
Yes, I agree. And I agree with what you're saying, Padawan. Yes, board games are complete. It is true.
Yeah. Not all of them.
Not all of them, no. But yes. Yeah, I just it all goes along with the same pattern of the confusion of games, comics, movies. There's interesting movies out there, then there's stuff like, why do I want to see this? Then there's just stuff where they're just pushing an agenda, and if you don't like this, then it's like, oh good, they now are going to attack us for it. And then you also, with the confusion, there's too many monopolies. That's a huge problem too.
Right.
I say.
That's the big thing. Yeah, the companies need to be broke up. We need a
Yes.
trust buster to come in here,
Yes, we
break
do.
things up, and when you start having some, and I think that's just it. You said it right there. There's not a competition. When you actually had competition in the day where a studio was in true competition with another studio,
Yep.
and they're trying hard to get the best pictures out there for people to watch, you had good films.
Yep. Yes.
But
And there's
now,
still good films coming out, but
yeah,
even stuff like Avatar, which I know Crit liked and other people liked, some people said it was amazing. That's
Mhm.
great, but other people, friends of mine that I know, said they hated the story. So
Mhm.
it's just, and does that mean with James Cameron making all this money off Avatar too, that we don't bet against him? Is that, I don't know, but
Well, no,
I just
bet against.
Well,
I don't know if you want to bet against Avatar, but James Cameron isn't fallible, or is fallible. He's
very much so.
He's a big part of the Terminator, Dark Fate,
Mhm.
and
Right.
look what they did to that.
Right.
Well,
I mean, even
just look
going
at a
back to
species
our
difference.
earlier topic about marketing, Alita Battle Angel. That
Yes.
movie's good.
It
that
is.
movie deserved to be
Yes.
seen by the masses, but
Yes, it did.
unfortunately, the marketing didn't help it.
No.
And I
it
was
did
waiting
not.
for a part 2.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, and so what people like Crit are thinking is that if Avatar does really well and continues to do really well, and it's doing very well, that we may see a Battle Angel 2, Alita Battle Angel 2. I don't know if we will, but yeah.
And hello to Made of Rubber, who is laughing out loud.
Well, we're funny dudes.
Yes. But yeah, it's just a lot of this stuff is weird. I mean, I'm going to give my brother and I we're going to give the Last of Us series a chance, and I think Pedro Pascal can make a quality Joel. But there's other things in that show that I'm worried about. But I thought, you know what? Let's give it a chance. Let's see what happens.
Well, just wait till he gets killed by a 5-iron, and we'll see how you feel.
I know all about that. I know, right?
And on this one here is, if you break up the studios, you lose big budgets. Well, yes and no, but just because you have a big budget on a film doesn't mean it's actually done better. Think of the films that were done with smaller budgets using practical effects, and they hold up a lot better than these big, huge. Let's dump all this money in and have all this CGI effects, and it doesn't. It's. I've been falling more in love with the practical effects now than CGI. They're relying too much on the CGI to tell a story when it's just a tool to enhance a story.
I blame George
I
Lucas.
mean, you look at the behind the scenes where everything's shot in front of a green screen, especially for comic book movies.
Yeah,
and like you said, Anonymous, blame George Lucas because he was doing that for the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad considering what we've.
Well, they were just getting started too, but
right.
They still it still looks better than a lot of the Star Wars TV shows, especially Book of Boobaloo. Like you look at Revenge of the Sith, which I think is still the best of the prequels, and then you compare that to like the Book of Boobaloo and how
it's a matter. It's not a matter. Well, I mean, it is a matter of too much special effects, like Lucas did. But the special effects artists at that time were very good, but the quality has degraded down through the years, where most of these people are probably coming right out of freaking digital art school or whatever, and they don't have a lot of experience under their belt, and they're them are the people that they're hiring because they're cheap, and they'll work long hours and they'll do whatever they told to do. And you've heard the complaints about freaking Lucasfilm and what they're doing, but this is the quality. Their quality suffers for it, and it's a mixture of both, too much and no talent.
Right, and I actually like to start seeing these films now have such big budgets because it's just, in my opinion, it's just let's throw a bunch of money and make it seem big. And
to be honest, how much did Black Widow cost?
I'd have to go look it up.
A lot of money. It was what, 200?
It must have been over 200 million.
200 million. Did that movie need to be $200 million?
I don't think
that movie
so.
didn't need to be released after Endgame.
That movie needed to come out. Actually,
timing is a different story, but
that's a different one. Yeah, but I mean,
the Black Widow story could have been told for 100 million, 75 million. I mean, it's just one woman. It's a bunch of people who are trained as fighters and spies, and that movie could have been, or that story could have been told for far less money, and still probably made a profit if they had done it right. They didn't need to sink that much money into it. I don't see where it went. I really don't.
Yeah.
The most of it was green screen crap, and there was not a lot of practical effects. Are the digital effects departments charging like exorbitant amount of money nowadays? I don't know.
Or it could just be that these companies are overworked.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I do want to say hello to Super. Yeah. I do want to say hello to Super Goatee Reviews. Welcome to the show.
Hey, howdy, partner.
Hello.
How are you, Makato? Mr. Roboto. See, I'm worldly.
And Dempsey's saying, I want a guy in a Godzilla suit in his backyard stepping on Lego building.
Me too.
I'll take it. I will freaking take it.
Yeah,
I would watch that.
Me too. Me too.
I'm Godzilla.
Yeah. The thing is, could it be Roy because he's Godzilla, or could he be Roy because he stepped on Legos?
I think it's the Legos.
Legos. And he might actually spit out some nuclear fire for it too.
Yeah, I mean, and if they use, too bad Gilbert Godfrey said I wanted him to do the growling, the noises.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like this one too from Dempsey. Tell me you wouldn't pay to see The Rock and Henry Cavill playing G.I. Joe's first He-Man
in the back. Yeah, that'd be good. You know, the funny thing is Henry Cavill might be down with it.
He might. He might. He's
just a big muscle bound nerd. I mean, he is one of us. That's what's so nice about him.
The freaking Rock would be back there. I was a G.I. Joe once, right? Shut up.
Shut up, you muscle bound boob.
And Henry Cavill would go, you're also a superhero once too. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And he's going to be involved in a Warhammer project. That's crazy.
Right.
For Amazon.
Yep.
So we'll see how that turns out.
I know nothing about Warhammer, but I'll watch that.
Oh, there is so much crazy lore.
Yeah.
Warhammer. It's nuts.
It's wild. It's wild, man.
We need more. We're getting some Warhammer games. That Space Marine 2 game looks could be really amazing. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. If they keep it to what the first one was, yeah.
Yes.
I think that was the best Warhammer video game made.
It's a good one, but the Vermintide is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
And that's another thing. I just want to see. You see some of these dinky Warhammer games, or one of my favorite things is like, hey, you have to buy a DLC for $5 so you can get the blood in Warhammer. What? Wait, what? Excuse me?
Back in the day, all we had to do was put in a cheat code for the blood in Mortal Kombat.
Right.
And hopefully not the Chinese blood, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Green?
The white.
The other thing is like Grand Theft Auto. Where does that go? And yes, some of it was leaked, a little of it, and it's just like, what is this? Why does this woman look like Hilary Swank? And what's going on here? But
even the remasters of Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas weren't all that great.
They were a mess. It was just technical. It's just technical. It was like, hey, here's $60, guys. Here's your game. You bought this game.
And then what did they do? They
have
took it
problems.
off their service so you couldn't play it, and they put in patches. But you look at the overall game, you're thinking, if this is supposed to be a remaster, things should be a lot more polished than what they are.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Especially when you take into account what home video game consoles and computers by themselves can do with great graphic cards put into them.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's always been bugs when games have been released, but it's now there's way too many bugs, and it's like, why am I paying $60 for this game?
Because
And
they're
there's all
rushing them
these
out.
bugs. Yeah, exactly. And they
Yeah.
think like, oh, and the fans could be to blame for this too. Oh, get that game out. Oh, yeah. No, stop it.
Oh yeah,
Well,
right.
Here's a question from Dempsey. He asks, would you rather an actor that looks like the character exactly or a slightly different look, but an actor who knows the lore better than anyone around him? I'd rather have the latter.
Yeah, me too.
Slightly, but
yeah, slightly,
not completely. I don't want like I don't know what you. Dang it! I hate it when my brain don't work.
Well, or more importantly, an actor who looks like the character and does the research to know what the character is,
Just
which
like
gives a lot of
Henry
plot.
Cavill did with The Witcher. He knows his Witcher lore better than anybody on that show.
Well, I mean, look at Rogue One. The guy who did Rogue One didn't know anything about Star Wars, but he went and dug into the lore, and he went and figured out what it's supposed to be about, and he watched movies, and I can't remember if he did some of the EU stuff or not, but I mean, he did some research, right?
Yep.
No. Yeah.
Same with Nicholas Meyer and Harv Bennett when it came to Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. They didn't know anything about Star Trek, so what did they do? They watched all 79 episodes.
Dang.
So they can get a feel for the characters.
And that's exactly what I would do if I were going to make some sort of superhero movie. I would go and find the entire run of whatever comic book character that would and read every freaking one of them. Figure out what they're about, what's their motivation, what's the storylines, their character, everything about them. That tells you how to make the story right, and you'll garner so much more goodwill with the fans. And even people that don't read the comics, all they have to do is hear other comic book guys saying, "Man, they stuck to the lore. They stuck to who this person is, who this character is," and that turns something in their head to say, "Well, this might be actually pretty good."
Well, I mean, just because you're sticking to lore doesn't mean the person who's not familiar with it won't enjoy it. In fact, maybe it will open a new door for them to expand. It's like, maybe I should read this or watch this or play this.
Yeah, that could turn a lot of people on to the other media.
Right.
Well, yep. And I wish someone would be like, you know what? Let's do a female version of Duke Nukem, but this time we're gonna have her curse. We're gonna have her say inappropriate things, and that could be pretty cool. And she's just an attractive female, and so a male that, oh hey baby, shake it or something.
Come get some.
That's right.
So you're talking about Laura Croft?
Yeah, well, no, Laura Croft's different.
I know.
Hail to the king, baby.
It just.
I'm gonna get medieval on your asses.
Yes, I have some Duke Nukem sound clips.
I love it.
Oh, Duke Nukem.
That's right. Welcome to PACIFIC414 Pop Talk, baby.
Yeah, too bad that follow up one they had on the Xbox was just.
That was trash.
God.
Yeah, I've never played it. I've heard bad things about it, but I've never.
Everything is true. If anything was maybe underplayed, understated. Yeah. I bought it for like $4 and still turned around and sold it back. I didn't even keep it.
But you just keep building up these characters, and you go from there and so on. But there's this confusion. But there's also confusion, as I've said before, about these franchises not coming back. And they're like, oh, we're going to get rid of these people. Why? Why don't you put out polls? And I wish they would. And maybe we should encourage them. Maybe we should tag these companies on Twitter, these gaming companies, Ubisoft, different ones, and say, why don't you guys put out polls of games like, would you guys like this? Some of these companies are doing this. Some of these gaming companies, Atlas has been doing that. They do a survey here and there, and it would be nice to see.
You got to be careful. It has to be a wide range of people. It's not like you do a focus group in California.
Right now, no, that's what I mean. Put it out on Twitter and see who votes for these things.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope you don't have the bots get involved.
Right. That is a problem. Right.
That's the one downside I can see on there.
That is true. Yeah.
Well, there's a way they can do it without Twitter, or they can just put a link.
Yes.
Hey, go vote for this on their website, so they can.
Right on their website. I agree.
Bots and even have CAPTCHA or something. There's ways around it.
Mm-hmm.
True. Yep.
Yeah, when you actually have to work to do it, you generally get people who do have a true saying, and if you come to them and then you can just we can just say whatever we want and ballot box. There's still a certain amount of laziness to the woke. It's easier to do it on Twitter than to go to
than to physically go into some place and vote on something or
even go to the website.
Right. Yeah. And that's the other thing, like even the people who are like anti-woke, there's people like extreme on both sides, and they're like, oh, we want this, and it's like, well, this may not work in the game, and that becomes confusing also. But what's still confusing to me, and I'm sure a lot of people that are looking into this, is the censorship. This whole thing about Western sensibility nonsense. To me, those are just buzzwords again. And it's just annoying. So.
I miss the days of watching Star Trek The Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise, where you would get excited about the next week's episode after finishing up with the current week's episode. Thinking, okay, what are they going to do next?
Oh,
especially during the Dominion War. Going, where are they going to take this next? And, when you see the trailer for In the Pale Moonlight, you're thinking, no way. They're going to actually try to bring the Romulans into the war?
I remember Paul's not here. Yeah. I remember back in the day when TNG was on at like 10:30 at night, because that's when they played. It was in syndication, or was out of syndication. I can't remember what it was called, but they didn't play at prime time, right? So at 10:30 on a Saturday, my stupid brother would want to watch Rush Limbaugh because his show was on at the exact same time for a while, and he would grab the remote and switch it back and forth during the commercials of Star Trek, and I was so mad whenever he did it because he would wait too long, and I would miss like a few minutes of freaking the show, and that's the kind of zeal people need to have for these shows now. I was dying if I missed a minute of freaking Star Trek. I was mad. I was upset, and that's the way it should be. Freaking nerds need to love their shows again, and they need to make us love the shows. They need to bring us in and do right by us, because we're the ones who support them. We're the ones who pay their bills.
Right.
One day they're going to realize that again.
And the anticipation for a new episode. I can remember playing the game of baseball with some friends, and Voyager was about to come on, and I gotta go. They're all, why are you leaving? I said, Voyager's coming on.
I got higher priorities.
What's wrong with you, man? Voyager? No, I'm just kidding. But and it comes back to to how we started this conversation off with the Burnett and Doomcock, sounding off on this. Do we reward if Picard season 3 really is good? If it is really what we need, should we rewarded by watching it? Or have we become so jaded by the studio with debate and switch and insulting and demonizing of us uh, through all these years when all we've been asking for is good Star Trek? Um, do we still keep our backs turned? And that's going to be the big question. Now, should we reward when they are doing it good, or is it going to be selective? It's like, okay, you guys didn't really do us bad. You heard us, and you're going to do it, or you guys really were shit to us. I don't care. You can have the biggest masterpiece there is. I won't watch it because how you treated us. What do we do as we go along here? Do we have reserved rewarding or what?
I think it depends, really. Star Trek has hurt us too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think apathy is set in for a lot of that.
Yeah.
They will have to do more than just one season of a crappy show to pull people back in, pull us back in. They're going to have to not just Paramount, but all of Marvel, DC, all these people have to consistently improve to us that they've turned some sort of corner and want to make quality content again. And yes, you can be honest. If you watch the show, you don't even have to watch it. If you black belt on Star Trek, that's fine. I can't blame you a bit. And if you don't watch the show, but for the people who do, I prefer them to be honest. If it is a good season, just say so. That's fine. You don't have to dump on it if it sucks. But like I said, you're going to have more than just that, because lots of people like Andor, mid to decent show, but I don't care about Star Wars, and I didn't watch it, and I'm not going to watch it.
Well, it's like I said earlier, when it comes to season 3 of Picard, I want to see genuine reviews. I want to see the reviewer give the good points and the bad points.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't want somebody to come on there and go, "Hey, YouTube, I just watched episode 1 of season 3 of Picard, and it is so great. Where's my money, CBS?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no shells. Sorry.
Right. I mean, and not somebody going out there just bashing it because of the previous experiences with Star Trek. If it is good, give it that fair shake with reviews. Say, this one actually was pretty good. I mean, it can go all ways on that one. I mean, for me,
well, if you get a lot more people saying that it was good, it was it was a very good season. They did it right. They brought in some good writers and the actors knocked it out of the park. Will it tempt you to watch the show?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the question you have to ask yourself.
Right there.
Right. I mean, maybe if it was on Pluto
for free, yeah.
I mean, I'm being whatever, because they have commercials on there. It's like, well, then it should do good on a, because Pluto's a commercial network. Then it should do good there too. I'll watch it there then, but I'm not going to subscribe.
No, I'm not going to pay for one season. No, so that goes along with the consistency part. I'm not paying your service fee just to watch one season of Picard, and it'd be okay, but all the rest of your, stuff is junk, and you're not getting my money. You haven't enticed me enough to come back and give you my money.
Right. And, even then, what can you trust? I mean, when they sit back and say, all Star Trek's now going to be on Paramount, and I just heard something that Voyager was taken off.
Oh, that was dumb.
Yeah,
really?
So, I mean, someone was, I saw something about that where, hey, what happened to Voyager? Well, if that's the case, why?
And that's another thing. Just because they put it on their own streaming services doesn't mean they're going to keep it there. You're saying that Voyager's currently off. Well, they took the movies off. And why? Because they look at it this way. If we could make more money putting Star Trek movies on this streaming service and the series on this streaming service, we'll do that. They're in the business to make money.
Yeah.
I know I'm pointing out the obvious.
Service.
Yeah,
they may be a streaming service, but they may not be making as much money as they could if they, sold the rights to stream it to, say, Amazon, Warner Brothers, Netflix.
If they're not making, well, that's I don't know if that's a double-edged sword or what. I mean, because they have to have subscriptions in order to survive. But if they're giving away their crap, they're defeating the purpose of getting people to subscribe to their service.
Well, they're not giving away. I mean, they're getting obviously a profit off of it, but they had it on these other platforms. Yeah, they had all these platforms and they took it off these platforms.
Yeah, why would you take it off Paramount Plus? Why would you take your own content when you're vying for more content off your streaming service to give it to another streaming service? You're shooting yourself in the foot.
Or could it be another thing? I don't have any inside information on this. I'm just asking. I'm just wondering myself, thinking out loud. Could it be that Paramount Plus is indeed folding after all these rumors saying it is? Or could it just be that they want to make money and they figure they can make more, give it to someone else?
Well, you're probably going to have to look and see if they start giving away more stuff, or not giving away, selling, or renting out more of their content to other platforms. And if that happens, then they're probably going to go under.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to start seeing streaming services go here because there's way too many of them. Not all of them can survive,
and not enough good content.
Right, exactly. I mean, just because we got this one show, who's going to subscribe just for one show? Unless you have, a lot of money and that's your life.
Yeah.
And which there are. You got those people that have every single streaming service because there's one show on there.
And they got a lot of disposable cash, which, most of us, we don't. Most of Americans don't have enough money just to subscribe to Netflix and Disney Plus and all that and only watch like 2 things a month. And that's just a giant waste of money.
And it's getting worse. It's getting worse for a lot of us. I mean,
they're just more paywalls. And so even Netflix is like, well, now people can't mooch off other people. Okay, great, whatever. But how much good content is on there? More confusion again. Well, this is great content. Is it though? This is great content. Yes, there's things you can find on Disney Plus and HBO Max and stuff like Amazon and but
there's things you can find, but like original content, like Disney Plus. Who's gonna watch? Who's gonna rewatch? If they tricked enough people into watching She-Hulk or Hawkeye or whatever, who's gonna rewatch that? It's a dust collector. Those are dust collector shows. They sit on the shelf. Nobody's gonna touch those again.
Well, you also look at services like Disney Plus and Netflix, and they're going to commercial plans.
Yep.
You pay, $6.99 a month, and you get Netflix with commercials. And sometimes you're not getting everything that Netflix offers because you're paying that low tier basic price.
Right. That's why might as well have Pluto. Might as well have Tubi.
Yeah,
they're free.
Yeah, they're free and free with ads. But it's like if you're on a streaming service, there shouldn't be, and you're paying, there shouldn't be any ads. It's ridiculous.
Well, and of course, we know that
any kind of tier for that either. Yeah.
Well, we know She-Hulk season 2 is DOA because, I mean, how stupid are you as the people, doing the show, and then confessing to everybody that we made a show that no one will watch. We intentionally made a show that we didn't want people to watch. And that's how stupid these people are nowadays in Hollywood.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously, you could keep it quiet, but the moment you went public with it, it's like, well, you just sealed your grave.
Arrogance.
Hubris,
arrogance, stupidity. It's a bad combination, but they have it. It's a disease, and they got it bad. So
it's a lot of arrogance for sure.
And it cost them a second season. They probably might have been able to get a second season out of it if they kept their mouth shut, but no. They had to go out there and try to make a point against us male toxic fans, and by doing so, show the combined intelligent IQ level is about 68.
And let's also look at it this way too. We as YouTubers, content creators, we have to look at what we're doing and think about, okay, do we continue doing our content this way, or is there at some point we're gonna have to look at it and say, nope, I need to tweak things a little bit?
Right. I mean, I myself, I mean, I know we're getting probably close to the ending time, but I myself, again, I'm very positive about this. I'm seeing little rays of light through all this. I am not doom and gloom. I'm not black pilled. Now, granted, I am not dizzy Star Wars, but never will be probably. And same thing with New Trek. Doctor Who, the new stuff is dead to me.
Yep.
But does that mean I'm black pilled? No, I still have my, the 26 seasons of Doctor Who. I still have, all the Star Trek series up to the Jar Jar Abrams films. And I have all the books, and the same thing with Star Wars EU. I have all that. I have all the other Doctor Who books I have from then. The universes are not dead.
No.
The interpretations that have been done are to me. And I hope that someone wakes up in the near future and realizes it. You have people that do love what the lore is about and keep going. That's why I have a high hopes for the Warhammer 40K series, because Henry Cavill is co-producer. He loves Warhammer. I mean, and that helps out. I mean, he loved The Witcher. That's why he walked away from it, because they were destroying the show. I mean, the man has convictions. So as that goes, I do have high hopes. I do see things changing in the near future. They have to change, because there's no way Hollywood is able to keep alive now, especially with the economic situation in this country the way it is. They're not getting the money from China. They're not getting all that government money they were getting before to push agendas. No, they're going to have to start relying on their own abilities. And if that means they have to go in there and clean house, well, in some ways, you kind of had that with the Warner Brothers. Whether we like it or not, they are cleaning house over there and trying to do something. Let's see if it works out. Like I said, even BBC Radio 4, they're admitting it. These are positive signs. These are wonderful signs.
It's gonna be darker before it gets brighter, though. But also,
I agree.
I'm hoping. My hope is in independent content, independent creators. I'm hoping some of these. There's be a lot of people rising up and trying to make their own stuff, and unlike financiers or other capitalists, I'm fine with capitalism.
Yeah,
and then will fund these people. They will look at these independent creators and say, "Hey, I want to do something with you," and build a separate entertainment company or companies other than the people in Hollywood, and and foster that sort of thing where people can get a ISOM comic book or a whole universe full of good comics that aren't DC and Marvel, and they're being funded and produced and put out by a new rising independent company or movies, a new movie house somewhere. Somebody takes up residence in Texas and builds another studio or something that isn't part of Hollywood and not funded by Hollywood.
Well, in some ways, you're absolutely right on Amos, because think about it. Back in the early 70s, Hollywood was in a bit of a dark time back then, in the late 60s, early 70s. You had dour, dark films. We had things, because of people's attitudes toward the United States, Vietnam, the race, situation, stuff like that. But you had independents that became giants, and that was Coppola, Scorsese, Spielberg, Lucas. All these people were independents.
Yeah.
American Zoetrope Films. I mean, that was an independent company that Coppola started. In a sense, they were all independent, and they made it big. And
but that's the thing; they had to get backers for their films, for their projects, which was the big Hollywood studios, and we need a separate company or separate companies, and what do they call it?
Backers, financiers.
No, it's a thing where we're all separate from the right and the left. We have our own banks. We have our own companies that hire conservatives or libertarians or that aren't woke. companies that aren't woke, banks that aren't woke, and they're not going to take away your money just because you said something goofy or said something against the narrative on Twitter. So we need that. We don't need Paramount, and we don't need 20th Century. Well, it's now Disney, obviously. To fund independent creators anymore. We need somebody else who doesn't like the woke crap and isn't going to be throwing down edicts and making them do that when they don't want to.
And real quick, just the final thought for tonight: gatekeeping.
Yep.
Is it good for an IP or a franchise, or does it hurt a franchise?
All depends. Gatekeeping is a good thing if you remember what the universe is, that you realize that you have these big parameters to play with. You have the gate, just like we're sitting back saying before about people on our side that battling the woke have a tendency to be a little bit close-minded. If you think that if this is the only boundaries and you can't get out of it, then you're a bad gatekeeper. If you realize that we have this big universe and you keep it within that universe, you keep the tone, the style, everything to that storytelling because it is its own universe. And you don't want that spoiled. That's not bad gatekeeping. You're trying to keep it alive. Look at Christopher Tolkien, making sure that his father's works were not tainted. It took his death for Amazon to be able to come over and shit over it. So it all depends. Are you going to be an extremist gatekeeper? That's bad. If you're going to be a proper one, that's good. Because we can't let the woke wankers in and destroy it. Someone's got to keep them at the gate and not come in. We got to try to keep these people.
It's like I said to you offline, Baron. When I look at Star Trek, I don't consider it gatekeeping when I look at a Star Trek story now and say that's not Star Trek. When I say that part of Star Trek is exploring our humanity, yes, but also confronting issues that affect us all, not just a small minority, but us all.
Right. And that's a big thing. But the thing is what they're doing now isn't Star Trek. Star Trek was about positive. Now it's dystopian. That's not Star Trek. Those people should have been kept at the gate and not let in.
Yeah.
I mean, and we might not have liked Voyager, right? I was not a fan of Voyager, but I could never argue that it wasn't Star Trek.
True.
It was Star Trek. It wasn't my Star Trek. I didn't necessarily like it. People liked it, so that's good for them. I'm glad they liked it. But I would never attack it by not being saying that it wasn't Star Trek or even Enterprise.
Yep.
Enterprise gets a lot of hate.
Yeah,
I don't know why I loved Enterprise.
That's the whole thing. It's like Bounty in the Comics is guilty of this too, and they drive me crazy sometimes when they're like, or Cosmic Comic Book or some of these other sites. They're like, well, Andor is in Star Wars. I'm like, yes, it is. It's also tied to Rogue One. What are you talking about? It's not Star Wars because it's not your Star Wars, so it can't be Star Wars because it feels different. Because there's no Jedi and there's no Sith in it. Is that the problem? I read these articles and and to me, it's just another echo chamber when we're putting that out. Now, they obviously watched it, so I can say that, but it's like the same people who go, I know this game or this show is going to be shit, but you haven't watched it yet. So, hey, I just know. Even Saints Row reboot, like I haven't played the game. I just feel like with everything that's happened with that, it should have never been made.
Yeah. Well, see, that's shitty gatekeeping in that part because anyone who's part of Star Wars knows that all the way back, even in the 70s and going to 1980s, you had stories revolving in the Star Wars universe. They had nothing to do with Jedi. Had nothing to do, like if you take a look at the 3 Han Solo books they had back then. I mean, they're about Han Solo. There was nothing about the Force. There was nothing about that. Heck, they weren't even in the Empire. They're in a different area. So anybody that knows their Star Wars lore and does do the quote-unquote proper gatekeeping knows that. And that's not including the X-Wing series that came out, both books and comics.
Yeah, the Ewoks movies.
Yeah. So, I mean, just because you're not involving Jedi or the Force doesn't mean it's not a Star Wars. If it's in the universe and holds to the proper what that universe is about, you're doing it right. Now, the ones who are doing the gatekeeping are the people who are doing New Trek because they will not let any thoughts and ideas come in.
Yeah,
they're the ones.
They found the keys to the gate and they locked it behind them.
Right. Jason Isaac said it himself. If you don't agree with what we're doing, we don't want you to watch. Right there, that tells you that is your extremist gatekeeping, the wrong gatekeeping, and obviously people don't know anything about Star Trek.
Yep. But the thing is, our gatekeeping should be this is how new IPs are different, but like old stuff, Star Wars, all that, Star Trek. That's what the original intent, the lore, all that stuff should be kept behind the gate. And anybody who says I like that, come on in.
Right.
And anybody that stands at the gate and says, I think you should change that over there. I don't like that. Well, then you can just
exactly
down stand and walk away.
I mean, look at the difference between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. Right? Two different tones, but the thing is, it still was Star Wars. It still had the classic wipes. It still had the style, but the tone was different, and it stayed within those realms. So again, expanding that universe, going in areas of that universe, trying to keep it fresh, trying to get new thoughts and ideas within that universe should be the goal of anybody that's a proper fan. But like you were saying, Animas, if they're coming in and say, I don't like this, change it, then get the hell out.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that's a good time to wrap up this edition of Pop Talk right there.
Good, because my back is on fire.
Yeah, so is mine. I got a heating pad on.
I'm an old man.
I think this was a great discussion. I think this was a great kickoff to 2023 for Pop Talk. And
even with the wrong intro.
Well, you know what? you know what? I'm capable of bloopers, and I can't even cover that one up. It's like it happened. Mistakes happen.
Yeah,
you hear that, Roger?
Professional grade yet?
You hear that, Ryan Roger Affey? We got bloopers here too.
Just blame it on Phil. It's fine.
Oh yeah, it's still Phil's fault. Yeah. Phil and Paul.
Everything Phil.
Here in time.
Blame
everything. And Paul's fault too. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, Paul made the stupid channel. What in the world were you guys thinking?
Well, we were thinking Phil has some knowledge about different topics. He's very passionate, like we are.
He's going to end the world, Mike.
Mike, don't lie. Don't lie. The real reason why is our pain is now your pain.
You wanted to unleash him onto the world.
It doesn't matter. Exactly. It means people from all different channels, EBN, other people that want to come by, they can now troll Phil when he's live on his own channel.
Yeah,
it's great.
That'd be nice. I would tune in for
that. Well, you should
all trolls welcome.
Yep, troll the troll.
We're gonna troll him. We're gonna tell him how bad Star Trek 5 is, and on and on and on and on.
Right.
And Dempsey's saying, "Thank you for letting me blow up your chat. Take care, everyone." No, Dempsey, thank you for stopping by and watching us and supporting us and contributing to the conversation. Because one thing about Pop Talk, it's sit back, relax, and join the conversation. Whether you're on the panel or in the chat, you're still joining the conversation.
Pass some gas, good stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, no!
But
don't be Crit Junior. Don't do it.
No. We don't need
Pull
that.
My
again.
finger. Pull my finger.
I'm not
Shut up, baby.
They fall for that. My dad used to do that to me. I know that trick.
Pull my finger.
I do want to thank Dempsey for being here. Of course, I want to thank Old Man for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh man, dirty old man. By the way, I'm redubbing you.
Yeah.
And I want to thank Super Goji Reviews for stopping by. I subscribed to his channel yesterday and watched a little bit of his content. He does great content. And
good to hear.
Made of Rubber, thank you for stopping by. We also had the Paddle Wannabe. We also had an appearance by JT Gunn, Late Night with Cap.
Oh yeah,
great content creator there, and of course, from release McCracken. Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link to his channel in there.
Yes, we got to get going on that. Make him a household nightmare.
Hey, Phil, you might want to go see a doctor about that.
But thank you, Phil, for coming to see us and being your usual trollish self. I also want to thank Wolfden. Nice to see you, Wolfden. And as I scroll up here, DJ Ronnie G, thank you very much.
You get the right one, good.
I try. And let's see, as I scroll up, I already mentioned Dempsey, Pat Wannabe, Old Man, DJ Ronnie G. I also want to thank Pops for coming by. And it's all right, brother. I appreciate you stopping by the stream, and make sure to catch Pops every Tuesday on Talk Hard with Ironcaster and Stone Loki. We also had Nova Vaughn here. Thank you, Nova Vaughn. Alan Copeland. Thank you, Alan Copeland. They also had Captain Phantom Nerd. Good to see you.
Yeah.
And you know what, Captain? I think next week I'm going to send you an invitation.
Ooh.
To be on Pop Talk.
Haven't talked to him in a while. That'd be nice.
No, I haven't talked to him in a while either. And Jet Sparks, thank you for stopping by. Gilly Chow, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Thank you.
Roll Tide. Autobots, Roll Tide.
Autobots, Roll Tide, and roll out. Let's see. Is that everybody?
Oh, wait, how about the lovely Leia Rose?
Leia Rose.
I can't ever forget Leia
There's
Rose.
also Kathy Skywalker.
Yeah, Kathy Skywalker. Yeah, and there she is. Hi, Kathy.
And let's see. Anyone else, Barrett?
I think we got them all. At least the ones that were chatting.
Alrighty.
I can't attest to anybody.
Wait.
We have our favorite little
Comic Relief Crusader.
Yep.
Mike.
Mm-hmm. There's too many mics on this damn platform.
Joe. Need to thin the herd.
Yeah.
I have heard that. Especially when I was on a stream a couple months ago. I heard somebody go, "There's too many damn mics on this platform."
We say, "Hey, Mike, yo."
you know, I'm gonna play this.
Yeah, I know. I saw this coming.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow? Yo! I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
I mean, we can't help what we are, so.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, I'm not gonna say that.
Did we get DJ Ronnie? DJ Ronnie?
Yes.
Yep, we got DJ Ronnie in there, man.
Keely Chow?
Don't you watch this show, Cash?
No, I'm saying, did he already mention those?
Yeah, we mentioned them.
Yes.
I didn't.
Cash.
I didn't hear Keely Chow, so I wasn't sure.
We roll tide.
We roll tide, man. We roll tide.
No, you know I try not to forget people.
I know.
I always try to end up Pop Talk by thanking everybody who stopped by in the chat.
Giving you crap, buddy.
Yeah, I think that's that.
Trying to bust my chops.
He's busting your chops. See if we invite you back next week.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a co-host. See if we invite you back.
And Phil McCracken says you all love me. Really, really love me.
That's kind of strong. Tolerates more like.
We'll see how far that love goes when you're doing a stream by yourself and we're just in the chat trolling you. Heckling you. Come on, talk about something else instead of your hate for GoBots.
No, I think we got everybody covered. So
yeah. But thank you everybody for stopping by and watching. And I hope you like this format for Pop Talk, where the majority of the time it's going to be a panel like this, where I will try to send out invitations ahead of time to anybody who might be available that Wednesday night or on that Sunday. and then 2 open panels a month. So the first one will be this coming Sunday on the 8th, and then the next one I've decided it's going to be on January 25th. Yes.
Nifty.
But I do also want to say that 2 regulars, when they're able to be here, Baron Norman Tag, Cash Money,
Yo.
and I'm throwing in the third one, Anonymous, when he's available.
When I'm
Caps.
Thank you, Mike. You're so kind and generous. And
It just means you have to hear that video all the time.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Do not fret, Jet Sparks. Like I said, I will send you out an invitation for next week. So do not worry. And for some, I'll definitely get in touch with you well ahead of time because I know everybody's busy. Everybody does their own streaming at their own time. I can't just say, here's an invite, show up to my show, and then get disappointed when they don't show up because I didn't give them enough notice. And ask them and say, I'm having a show on Wednesday or on Sunday. Would you like to come on? And yes, Phil, don't worry. You'll be on too.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh.
Phil? No. You made the dogs bark.
They heard Phil's name.
No. Phil's a trigger word.
It is. It is.
Could be.
But thank you, everybody. And let's make 2023 a good year for all of us.
Yes. Look to the positive, folks.
Yes.
Yep.
Have
all doomed.
yourselves a great night.
Don't be a cashy downer.
Well, would you rather be a Cassie Downer or a Debbie Downer?
I don't know. Well, there goes 2023 right there.
Actually, I thought that was 2022.
I hope so. 2022 can suck it.
That blue.
Or assholes.
Anonymous.